Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Woman Impact Summit. Hi, Brenda. Hi, everyone from all over the world. Hi from Peru, Nigeria, Spain. Thank you for joining us today. So, my name is Maika Gil, and I'm the founder of Heroikka and also organizer of the Woman Impact Summit. I would love to thank all the women entrepreneurs who inspire us to learn from and support each other. Your impact is greater than ever, especially during this year with all these uncertain times. I want to share with you what is new this year for the summit. This year, our community is taking over, and some of the members of our community are going to be speakers this year. And last year, were just like you, attendees. So thank you to all of you for your commitment. I want to say that this year we also have amazing speakers that are going to be having workshops regarding crypto, workshops about financial health for your businesses. We are also going to have women in science. We're going to see how is mentoring creating impact. And we are also have a playlist. Yes, you heard it. We have a playlist. And thanks to Sira for putting it together. I think that our team is going to put it actually in the chat. Let me check very quickly all the people that we need to thank, because this summit wouldn't be possible without many people that have been working in the past months. So thanks to our sponsors, Open Value Foundation, Monica, Miriam, Ana, Elena, Paolo, Maria Angeles, that you're going to meet her shortly. Thank you to Casa Africa, Yurena and Nasiha, Asociación Heroica, Pino. Thank you for believing in our work. Thanks to our community partners, First Flight Venture Center. Andrea, thank you for your support. And Krista, thank you for being and supporting us one more year this year. Finance in Common, Women Business Collaborative, Gwen and Eliza. Glow Up Social Studio, Irene, thank you so much for always being there. Emigrar y Emprender, Rube. Hi from Netherlands, I guess. Thanks to Women Biz, Brenda, Women in Banking, Maite, ISPAX, Team Labs, thank you, Berta. I also want to thank our amazing team. Irina, thank you so much for always being there. You're gonna see her chatting with everyone in the chat, and she has been replying to many of your emails and your questions. Thank you to Irene. She is part of our production team with Eva. Thank you so much to all of you. And also I want to thank our interpreters. Let me tell you one thing. You're going to see an icon at the bottom with a world icon where you will be able to switch between languages. We have translations in English and Spanish. So thank you so much to our interpreters, Anouk and Hazel, today for supporting us. Once again, of course. And now I want to introduce you to Maria Angeles León Lopez, founder at Open Value Foundation and CEO at Global Social Impact Investments. Without Open Value Foundation, we wouldn't be here. Maria Angeles, they are all yours.
No. Can you hear me?
Perfectly.
Perfectly. Yeah. Thank you, Mike. And it's the other way around. When I was seeing all the people that are saying hello, I was getting like emotional. You did it again in a year that has been so difficult for so many of us. And I was thinking, how could it be? How could it be that you, Heroikka, which is a small budget foundation and project, redoing it again when big foundations are cutting here and there and getting rid of the community, because in times of like very, very difficult money problems, community seems like not important. And for me, and I think for women, that's what we have. When we don't have anything, we have a sister, a friend, a mother, a daughter, and that's where we come to when everything is gone. So it's so good that you just show up here and remember us that you are there for me and I'm here for you. That it's so. I'm so glad to be part of this, and I'm so happy that Micah keep on doing it, even if it is a miracle. So I just wanted to do.
I love it. And you know that I'm a big fan of yours.
Yeah,
You know it.
we like each other. It has always been like that. And what when I think about community is like sometimes you don't get what you want. I need money. I need this financial advisor, but at least you find somewhere and someone that will listen to you, help you put your brain in order, and search for a different way to be successful. So, and I think that we women know about it. And if we were a men organization, we will probably would have big sponsors, two or three only. In a women organization, we have a lot, and every single bit is adding, like in a family. So this is the first thing I want to say. Thank you for showing up. It's been a very tough year. Probably the next one is going to be the same, but at least we have each other. And there is another thing I want to share. Or every time I talk to women, is like, we are struggling more than men in the world. That's a fact. And sometimes we're struggling because we want to be like them. This is the success path. No, we need to have a big project, maybe become independent. My business should be very well. I need to have a beautiful family, everything. This is their path. Our path is different. We can do everything we want, but not at the same time. It's always come to my mind. Maybe our time to be successful in business is one, different to anybody else. Maybe your time to grow a family is different from anybody else. And when they start saying, "Oh, you're close to 40, no children?" No, I will have time. I'm a woman. I can do everything, but I only need to find my perfect time. So I just encourage you to keep on doing what you want and not get desperate. Maybe it's not this year. Maybe it's not next year. No matter how anybody else says, I'm going to do it. I will find my time and I will have my community, and Heroikka could be a super good help. So thank you for having me as always.
No, thank you so much. You mentioned something that is true. Sometimes the system, the ecosystems that are built for entrepreneurs out there do not fit for women because we have different hats and we don't need to follow the rules. We can't if we're trying to take care of our communities, families, everything that we love. So we need to change things, and that's the brilliance about this community. We are willing to explore new ways of doing things. And today, as you mentioned, is a great opportunity for us to learn from each other, to share what we're working on, and let's have fun and celebrate all these amazing women that are creating the biggest impact in their communities, and they do not get recognized. They don't have the right visibility. They don't have customized resources, and they still do it. They are our inspiration, and thank you so much for believing in our work and what we are building as well.
Thank you, Micah. And I think I need to give the micro to someone else. Huh?
Awesome. Thank you
So
so
good.
much.
Thank you. Bye. Bye. See you
Bye.
soon.
So you have met Maria Angeles Leon Lopez, founder at Open Value Foundation and CEO at Global Social Impact Investments. We are super thankful for them and their sponsorship every year. And as you are starting to see, especially for those that are new to our summit, we're not your typical summit. We want to listen. We want to hear from you. We care about what you're building. And for this reason, our next panel is extremely interesting. It's about opportunities and learnings of impact investing in emerging markets. And we have an amazing moderator, Mónica Vázquez del Solar, head of Catalytic Ventures at Open Value Foundation. We also have two amazing speakers, Freda Burunga, head of Impact and Corporate Affairs at Ed Partners Africa, and Vera Awachi, Socially Responsible Investments, and SVAT Foundation. Thank you so much to all of you for joining us today. And in the meantime, while they're getting connected, I'm gonna let you know that we're having this year around 50 or 60 women entrepreneurs that are pitching. And I wanna give a big shout out to all of them because it has been amazing to get in contact with all of them in this short amount of time for them to pitch. So we are extremely thankful with all of them for being here this year. So let me see how we're doing and bringing our panel into the room. Let me check who's in the chat. Oh, hi from Mexico, Zimbabwe. Oh, hi to everyone in the Canary Islands. Hi, Javi. Thank you for getting connected today. Oh, to everyone in the Boston area, hello. Oh, I will continue saying hi later. So Monica, Vera, Freda, they are all yours.
Okay. Can you hear me, Micah?
Perfectly. I can
Okay.
hear you.
I think we miss Vera in the room, or because I don't see her.
No, Vera is here.
Sorry,
Frida,
Frida. Sorry, Frida in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if she's having any technical issue, and that's why.
These are things that happen when you go live
Yeah.
from all over the world. So sometimes you get lost in the different rooms. I know. To all our participants, let me explain to you. We have different green rooms and we put the speakers in the rooms. And sometimes we even get lost because we get so excited about participating and we start chatting. Some of us, we know each other for a while. So that's one of the things that usually happens. But if you want, Monica, you can start explaining a little bit what is this panel about.
Okay, I think it's a good idea. We can start with that.
Well, we will find.
Yeah.
We will find Freda. Thank you.
I'm pretty sure she's close. Well, thank you so much, Micah, first of all, for having us, for having, well, me, the foundation. We are very happy to be here. As well, basically in this panel, I'm going to introduce a little bit about myself and Open Value, despite Maria Angeles already told something about us. Well, basically, we are a foundation, a Spanish foundation, and we support and invest in social enterprises in Africa and in Spain, in Sub-Saharan Africa and Spain. So my role inside the foundation is regarding to our impact investing club, which is called Catalytic Ventures, and basically it's our co-investment strategy. It's a way that it's an initiative where we try to join with other investors, maybe foundations, maybe business angels, maybe family offices, who are eager to invest also in social enterprises and share the same vision than us, that capital can be used to generate social impact. So having said that, I had the pleasure to moderate this session with these two remarkable women. Well, I hope that we are going to find soon Frida, because we were a few minutes ago with her. Where basically the idea of the goal of this panel is to know from them, from Vera and Frida, which are very engaged, who are very engaged in the impact investing ecosystem, in the impact investing landscape in Africa, to learn from their experiences, how is working the impact investing ecosystem in the region, what are the challenges and the opportunities, and how their organizations are addressing those challenges and taking advantage of those opportunities, right? So the idea is to set the tone of the session. I would like to explain a little bit what is, when we talk about impact investing, what we are talking about. And basically, we are talking about the mobilization of the use of capital to generate financial returns as other investments, but at the same time and with the same level of importance, to generate social or environmental outcomes. And different in the ecosystem, there are different kind of investors, and of course, different kind of recipients of investments. The most social enterprises exist in different sectors, in different regions, in different industries, and are creating this change. And most of the time, they need this capital to consolidate and to grow. So, in that sense, the idea of this session is to have to know better these ecosystems from two sides of the landscape. From one side, we have Vera Wachi, which is going to introduce herself in a moment, where basically she's representing the side of the investors or the limited partners in this case, which is because they are a foundation that are investing in funds, and also they are doing direct investments in companies in the region. So she has all this perspective on the side of the ones that are capital that are asset owners, capital owners. And on the other side, that I hope we are going to join with her soon, we have Frida. Frida is from Ed Partners Africa, which is a social enterprise who has a very interesting and very innovative model to provide different financial instruments to support schools, small private schools in Africa. Supporting these schools with the capital they need to be better and to be growth, to improve the quality of education that they provide to child or to the students. So I don't know if we are Frida right now. If not, maybe Vera and we can start talking about, maybe I would like to ask you if you can introduce yourself, of course, your organization, what you do, what drives your mission, and what is your role in a more specific way in this impact investing landscape.
Great, thank you, Monica. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you.
Perfect. So as Monica said, my name is Vera Awache, and I work for ANASVAD Foundation in Spain. ANASVAD is a Basque foundation. It was created in the north of Spain, dedicated to originally the access of health. And since 2017, it's changed its focus. It's obviously still the access of health, but the eradication of neglected tropical skin diseases in sub-Saharan Africa. And so with that, just to have a little bit of background of the foundation, they work with the diagnosis, reintegration of people who are either affected by these diseases and or their caregivers. What we've seen is people who are affected by these diseases unfortunately face a lot of biases, stereotypes, and many times live in impoverished situations. And many times it's obviously poverty and inability to access to healthcare, clean water systems, et cetera, that prolong and these diseases in these endemic regions. So I bet now everyone's wondering, what does that have to do with impact investing? What we've noticed over the 50 plus years we've been a foundation is that one way to fight against these diseases is to hit them at the source. And many times it's poverty, lack of access to education, lack of access to drinking water, lack of access to healthy food or just food that will keep children alive past the age of 5. These areas where this is an issue is also areas that are highly endemic of these skin diseases. So we thought, why don't we hit these diseases on 2 fronts? One through diagnosis, other front through alleviation of poverty, alleviation of these factors that force or make these diseases more prolific. And with that, we decided to enter into impact investing. The second question is how. What we've noticed over the years is through the it is a foundation, our foundation on NSVAD, and with the donations that we received, we started creating an endowment. With that endowment, we now use it as an investment tool to invest directly into impact funds that either have a focus on the continent, specifically Sub-Saharan Africa, and or direct investments into companies in the Western Africa. And that's how we have used our endowment to fight another line of intervention against these skin diseases.
Great, Vera. Thank you. I would like to ask if you have in your impact investing strategy, are you investing in the same sectors that it means water, health, the same sectors that the foundation has prioritized, or do you also enter in other sectors?
That's a great question. So we do also enter in other sectors, but we do have a focus on obviously WASH programs, health, agriculture. And what we've seen is there's actually a lot of opportunity in Sub-Saharan Africa in these sectors. Agriculture is one of the largest sectors in Sub-Saharan Africa. And with that, we want to make sure that all of our companies in which we invest in do not harm the environment by any ways. It would be negative on our part to invest in a company that perhaps provides jobs and ensures access into certain foods and food security, but at the same time poisons the local drinking water. That's not something that we want to promote. So when we invest in certain companies, we do also make sure that they practice sustainable practices. They don't ruin the local environment. And we also push for the investment into companies that hire local talent, not just talent abroad, but talent in the regions in which we want to focus.
Okay, got it. And well, in this case, could you share with us? I know that you have these two paths, right? But if you could share with us some examples of funds or companies that you have invested and what role has had the capital that you provided to those projects?
Great. Yeah, that's a great question. So I think I'll start first with the direct investments that we have. Direct investments means we invest directly into the company. And with our direct investments, we usually invest smaller tickets to nascent companies, or companies perhaps that are have less than 2 years of business activity. What we do with these companies, we want them to incorporate in one way or another the treatment and the socioeconomic integration of people affected by the skin diseases and or their caregivers. The example, we have a company in Ghana actually that works creating shea butter, and the question always arises, what does that to do with skin diseases? In this company in Ghana, 80% of the women the company first of all hires 80% women, which is in line with our mandate of promoting women. Secondly, one other thing we've seen is that 80% of the women that they hire are either people who have been directly affected by one of these diseases, for example, leprosy, and or their caregivers. So this now ensures that they have access to a job, access to future income, and they can continue taking care of their family, and they don't have to be isolated because of this disease. So that's just an example of one of the direct investments that we've done and some of the positive impact that we've seen, not only financial returns, obviously, but also impact in the local community and reduction of stigmatization of people affected by these diseases in the local community. In regards now to indirect investments, I'm referring to investments into funds. So a fund just is a collection of many different companies, and we invest in the fund. The fund disperses the money amongst different companies. One fund that I'm actually really proud of that we invest in is Aurora Capital. It's a fund based in Nigeria with has gender lens investing. That's to say that the companies in which the fund invests in, the companies need to either have a woman on their C-suite or be run by a woman. So that's really great just to begin with. Also, it's a fund that's 100% African. The fund manager is an African, was Nigerian. The workers are Nigerians. The company is Nigerian and Ghanaian. So it's really great to see that there is obviously local talent, there is local opportunity, there is local impact, and what we've seen is missing is just capital. So it's not saying, oh, we need to give everyone a chance. Everyone's ready, everyone's prepared, everyone's has experience. It's allowing capital to flow to these regions.
Excellent message, I think, regarding to we can find talent and right talent appropriate for this kind of social impact business, right? Well, I think that we already have Frida here.
Yes.
Okay, that's great. Thank you, Frida. Maybe, yeah. Well, we already started because we was waiting for you, but basically Vera was talking about what their work, the work of Anesbat Foundation, and she was telling us a little bit about 2 cases of investments on its portfolio. So now I would like to ask you to first of all to ask you to introduce yourself. Of course, Ed Partners Africa, your organization, what you do, what drives your mission, and what is your role in this social entrepreneurship impact investing ecosystem. That in one side, and on the other side, if you can share a concrete example of the schools that do provide financing. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about that. Would be great.
Great, thank you. My name is Frida. In charge of Impact, that is Head of Impact and Corporate Affairs at Ed Partners, an institution that is a pioneer in edu financing. And what drives the mission is the need to educate or to improve access to education in Africa. As we all know, the phrase which Mandela said about education, that it is the most powerful weapon which we can use to change the world. But in Africa, you find that that can be a big challenge. And the challenge is that in sub-Saharan Africa is the fastest growing population in the world. And then the governments in sub-Saharan Africa, they do not finance, education enough. They do not capitalization of education is not as much as the needs are. So it's a big challenge. And when you look at the number of children who need to go to school, they cannot all fit in the education that is provided by the government. So a quarter of the schools in school-going children in Africa go to the non-sector schools, and mostly they are affordable private schools. And this becomes another challenge, brings in another challenge of resources, because first and foremost, these affordable private schools cannot access financing. And more parents now are preferring to take their kids to affordable private school because they provide quality of education that they cannot get in the in the mainstream schools, in the government schools. So that's where we come in. We try to make these schools, these affordable schools, bigger and better. Bigger in the sense that we provide them with financing they need for school development. And better in the sense that we try to improve the learning outcome of the students. And with that is we provide school development loans, we provide them with transport loans, we provide them with working capital. And when we look at the making the schools better, we provide them with school management system, and we enable schools to get tablets. And we also train the teachers and the school directors to manage the schools sustainably. And now we have introduced efficient cooking, reason being that we would want the schools to save on fuel cost, that is on firewood, because most of them use firewood, and also to ensure that there is no smoke in school. So the school become healthy, a learning space for children, and the school also save on the fuel they are using for cooking. And also we encourage the schools to provide meals so that the kids can be able to stay in school and not, to retain the children in school. So far, we have impacted over 700 schools and over 200 learners. 15 or 50% or 51% of these are girls, and 60% of the portfolio is owned by female directors. So that is the basis or the mission or the basis of our mission of making schools bigger and better. And our impact has been enormous in Kenya, across Kenya. Thank you very much.
Okay, Frida, thank you so much. So I would like to ask to both of you, how do you see the impact investing landscape in Africa in terms of opportunities and challenges? It means like, where are the financial gaps? What is needed is needed more, I don't know, companies that are prepared to receive investment, or is there more a need for more capital that should be allocated into companies that are ready? For example, I don't know, any opportunity that you can show for anyone on the audience that wants to invest there, or who is looking, who wants to know more about what are the opportunities there, and also what are the challenges and how your organizations have been addressing those challenges in more specific way. I don't know
Frida, do you wanna
anyone
go?
who wants to start.
Do you want to go first? Frida?
Yeah, no problem. In our challenges or the financial gaps that we have, and which I'm sure that that can be really helpful for us to impact more learners in Africa, is limited access to affordable credit. You see, if we make credit very expensive for these affordable schools, then it means they cannot afford to take. So they cannot afford to take that credit. So we are looking at where we can get credit that is affordable for the low, the affordable private schools that we are targeting. Another one is result-based financing. Education is a longer term outcome-based. So if we get credit, or if we get some money for a social development investment orientation, it makes our work easier, because then we are able to, to measure our outcomes in a longer term way. Of course, another one is underinvestment in education technology. Right now we have introduced tablets in a suitcase, and that's where we are giving tablets or enabling schools to acquire tablets. And one of the challenges that we are having is that the need is so much, and the capital that we have is not enough to surface or to serve that particular market and for that particular product. So if we got someone willing to to invest in seeing the need for an African child to have a tablet for a better preparation for, for the world, that would be very great. Thank you.
Thank you, Frida. Vera?
Yeah, I agree with what Frida said. I think a big part obviously is the lack of access to capital, and maybe perhaps someone has capital, but you'll see that the interest rate will be 80% in a foreign currency, which is honestly abusive. I don't know any other sort of way to put it. So I think access to capital and access to ethical capital. A big part of our portfolio actually from Anizad is one way or another directed towards microfinances. So we did big investments to larger investments to companies, but a lot of the investments we also go to local banks which either work with communities who don't have access to bank accounts, but have a way of tracking who lends and who buys. And a lot of this goes to agriculture, education, small businesses, any sort of financing that could help buy products and sell products and help boost up the local infrastructure and communities in honestly many times rural parts of sub-Saharan Africa. So I completely agree. I think this is what we need. It's not there's a system there. There's need there. There's obviously talent. We're the fastest growing continent in terms of population, and by 2050 will be greatly represented in the world stage. So obviously there's a great opportunity for even if you're just thinking investing without the impact, there's a great opportunity in sub-Saharan Africa. So I would highly encourage anyone. We're a foundation and we got into it because of it. We used our endowment as a vehicle. You don't have to be a traditional investor and to be an impact investor.
Yeah, that's great, because I think that hearing you both is that the challenges that exist are also opportunities for investors, for other entrepreneurs to create and to build these solutions that can address those gaps, right? So I would like also to know more about how do you, I think you mentioned a little bit, Frida, that you are concerned about the measurement of impact, right? When we're talking about impact investing, of course, an essential element of the strategy in general is not only measure financial returns, but also measure the social impact outcomes, right? But that's not as easy. All of us probably know what is a financial statement, what means, like, I don't know, financial ratios. But in the case of the social impact, it's different, right? And I will say it's a little bit more difficult to measure, of course, because there is not a standard that in the side of than compared with financial ratios, right? So how do you measure, manage impact, and in what or at what extent is this measurement, like I don't know, an evidence or a proof of evidence in front of your stakeholders?
Thank you. I agree with you that measuring impact can be difficult, but we have got 40, over 40 actually, social impact data points that we monitor. And we do this, for example, we do this by infrastructure, school infrastructure. That is very easy. It is quantitative. How many classrooms have we built? How many children are in this classroom? That we can, it's quantitative data. We do also digital access. How many students now can be able to access tablets? Teacher capacity. How many teachers have we capacitated in terms of digital literacy or learning outcome? But we also do qualitative and measurements, and that is we go to schools and get insights from the schools, because there is nothing that we can do without engaging the schools. If it's a solution that we want to introduce, we have to call them, tell them about the products and or the solution, and see where is the gap really coming from. Actually, all our our solutions
Mhm.
are informed in solution through a data driven process. Then we also have the dashboards that we normally use, digital dashboards. And one thing that we really keen on is to be able to see the outcomes of what we do. And with that, we have seen it really building investor conference to another level. And also, we are able to show the level at which we are or impacting or doing financial inclusion in education. So, really, impact management, measurements, and management is really a key tool for us to communicate what we are really doing to investors and even to the schools, to the community.
Yeah, it's key in your model, right?
Yeah.
Vera, could you share with us?
Yeah, just to add on, I suppose from the investor's point of view, and we are impact investors, which means we only invest with the forethought of additionality. That's to say, if there's a company that says they want investments from us, they need to show how our investments would add to a positive social impact, a positive environmental impact, and the indicators that would go along with that. So they couldn't just say we employ women. They would have to say, oh, we employ X amount of women with this investment. We want the amount to increase by this much. We are going to add policies that favor women and don't discriminate against women. We are going to increase the disposable income of our workers by X percent. These are the sort of examples, I suppose, of indicators that we would look at before obviously dispersing any sort of capital into a fund or a company. That's the thing that distinguishes us from other investors, is that we always look for impact. Obviously, we want a return, but we will accept a lower financial return for impact.
Okay, great. So looks like in both cases, impact and impact measure of impact metrics are key within your overall strategy, right? Are in the center of your overall strategy. And I think that's a good point in the sense that for the ones that are entrepreneurs in the audience and that are maybe they have a business or maybe they are trying to build a business, to keep in mind that this kind of investment and this kind of capital is looking for that additionality and is looking for that clear intention, right? That this is not something that appears like, okay, we are going to invest in this and maybe we are going to have this impact, or we are going to learn about that impact after the investment. In fact, you are analyzing this and from the designer, your social business, or from the designer, your investment strategy, right? So it's very clear that this before you create all this mindset and all these desired metrics before to even go into an investment or go into a school, for example, in the case of Frida, right? I'm not sure if we have a few minutes left because given we started, or we are done with the time, Micah.
Oh, if you want, we can wrap up and share with the audience your final thoughts. I don't want Frida to get deprived of some time to share with the audience. So that's okay.
Okay, great. So yeah, that will be what as Micah said, I would like to ask, like, will be like if you want to keep one key recommendation for the ecosystem. It means for any actor of the ecosystem, investors, social entrepreneurs, intermediaries in Africa, what will be that recommendation from you?
From me, what we need is like Vera has pointed out and myself, that we need not so expensive capital so that we can be able to serve our schools better. So for us to do that, I would ask the audience of blended financing, and which is also has got a risk sharing mechanism in it. That would be very useful for us. And also, we would want to expand. For instance, Ed Partners would really want to expand regionally and to replicate what we are doing because we know that it is working. And with this, what we would ask is that we have guarantees or concessionary funding. That will be very helpful because it will answer the challenges that we are getting in terms of capital, or accessing capital, which is reasonable for our school directors to be able to pay back our loans. And thank you very much.
That's a good close. Vera, in your case, what will be your recommendations?
I guess I'll speak from the angle of an investor, and I would encourage investors who perhaps have not yet invested in Africa and Sub-Saharan Africa and invite them to contact us directly or contact other organizations. We are obviously an NGO, a foundation, and to enter, if you're just looking to even just maintain the value of your endowment, you can put it into a government bond, or you could put it into something like what we do now, and not only create impact, but also perhaps grow your endowment at the same time. It's perhaps more daunting from the outside, but there's so many other organizations that do it. So reach out, and I'm more than happy to tell you our journey.
Great, thank you to both of you. From my side, I will say that, well, it was great to speak with you both. And also I would like to add something that in addition to what you said, is that collaboration is key for its ecosystem also, right? Collaboration on the side of investors, on the side of, for example, the Impact Investing Club that I mentioned, that is the club that the initiative that I lead at Open Value. We try to collaborate with others. That collaboration is because it's not just because we want to work with others, it's also because we are pretty sure that if we join together, we can get, I don't know, larger tickets for companies. We can support more companies in the regions. We are going to also be able to maybe to cover those risks or to finance the risks that Frida was mentioned, right? So I think that more collaboration is needed on the side of investors, on the side of intermediaries, and of course on the side of social enterprises that are going to get this funding, right? So that will be my final message. Thank you, Maika, again, and Heroikka for the invitation, and especially very, very thank you for Frida and Vera that were able to join us in this panel.
Frida, Vera, thank you so much. It has been a pleasure to listen to both of you. I'm sorry, Frida, were you going to say something?
No, I was saying thank you to Monica.
Okay.
And of course, thank you to Monica, of course, for putting this amazing panel together. We're starting the day with impact investment, which is super important, especially for the communities. And I have something in mind that Beda mentioned it earlier. It's not only about investment, but it's also about the impact that we need to start looking in. So thank you so much for all the work that you're doing. And I can't wait to reconnect with you after the summit. I'm very intrigued about all the work that all of you are doing. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you.
Thank you, Maika.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
And we're gonna continue with a session that we love. I know that many of you are always waiting to see the pitch session that we always launch through our open call in different platforms. And hopefully next year we'll be able to launch it through our Heroikka platform. So to present these amazing entrepreneurs that are gonna be pitching next, we have here Cira Rodriguez. She also pitched last year, and she's also helping us with the playlist. She put the playlist together this year. Sira, bienvenida, ¿cómo estás?
Hola, ¿qué tal, Maika? Equipo, genial, muy bien, feliz y contenta de estar otro año, en este caso, como presentadora de estas nuevas incorporaciones, nuevas participantes. Y como
Perfecto.
digo,
No, dime.
Como digo, pues feliz y agradecida por este espacio, porque es posible, porque una idea que en un primer momento surge de una manera, como cualquier emprendimiento, ¿verdad? Surge de una manera casi mágica, luego se hace realidad.
Pues muchísimas gracias por contar contigo y por participar este año, de verdad. Este es un claro ejemplo de el acercamiento que tenemos con la comunidad y que cuando nos ponemos en contacto con la comunidad responde. Así que te dejo para que presentes a las emprendedoras.
Me presento, soy Cira Rodríguez, artista colibrí y emprendedora, y como digo, es un honor estar hoy aquí en el Woman Impact Summit. Hoy vamos a conocer mujeres valientes, creativas y comprometidas, que nos van a contar sus proyectos a través de sus pitches. Cada presentación es un reflejo del esfuerzo, la dedicación y la pasión que hay detrás de cada iniciativa. Les invito a que escuchen con atención, a que se inspiren en sus historias y que también se lleven ese impulso para sus propios proyectos. La fuerza de nuestra comunidad no está solo en la que cada una hace individualmente, sino en cómo nos apoyamos y colaboramos entre nosotras. Hoy, más que nunca, quiero que sintamos que estamos construyendo un tejido de mujeres emprendedoras que se impulsan unas a otras. Quiero compartir algo personal, y es que el año pasado tuve la oportunidad de presentar mi proyecto como emprendedora artística en este evento. Fue una experiencia que me llenó de emoción. Estoy profundamente agradecida por iniciativas como estas, que van totalmente en consonancia con mi propósito: dar voz al talento femenino y generar referentes que inspiren a otras mujeres. Porque cada una de nosotras tiene una historia única, y hoy tenemos la oportunidad de escuchar de cerca esas historias, de sentir la emoción que cada proyecto lleva consigo. Esa energía, ese impulso que ponemos en nuestros sueños, es lo que nos conecta, lo que transforma ideas en acciones y nos permite seguir creciendo juntas. Antes de dar inicio a los pitches, quiero agradecer a cada una de las emprendedoras por su trabajo, pasión y valentía. Por supuesto, agradecer a Heroikka por ofrecernos esta plataforma, este espacio libre y seguro, y a las marcas colaboradoras y patrocinadoras que también lo hacen posible. Lo que hacen no solo impulsa proyectos, sino que también nos inspira. Estas iniciativas nos dan alas, nos dan confianza para mostrar nuestro talento a otras audiencias, y nos recuerdan que ninguna historia es pequeña cuando se comparte con intención. Quiero comentar también algo especial. Existe la playlist oficial del Woman Impact Summit, una playlist colaborativa en la que pueden añadir canciones de mujeres que lanzan mensajes poderosos. Queremos priorizar a aquellas artistas con menos visibilidad, porque su talento merece ser escuchado y reconocido. Celebramos la creatividad, la pasión y el impulso de cada una. Y ahora les invito a escuchar y a conectar con esas historias y a seguir colaborando y apoyándonos. ¿Quién sabe lo que puede venir cuando unimos nuestros talentos y compartimos nuestras voces? Muchas gracias, y empecemos a conocer a estas increíbles emprendedoras. En primer lugar, quiero presentarles a Joan Rucundo Naluvega, fundadora y CEO de Organics. Parece que está habiendo un problema técnico porque no se escucha el audio de ese vídeo que estaba preparado de parte de Uganix.
Tell you a story of a young girl, and that young girl. Hello, my name is John Okunonalwega, and I'm the CEO and founder of Uganix, a social enterprise fighting malaria. Can you believe that there are more people dying of malaria than any specific cancer? This is according to Bill Gates. And before I start, I would like to tell you a story of a young girl, and that young girl is me. I grew up in an orphanage in rural Uganda, and I spent more days in the sick bay more than I spent in school, suffering from malaria almost every week. I missed school a lot. I was bullied, and most of my schoolmates thought I had HIV because of my sickly life and my size then. In 2016, I decided to turn this painful childhood experience into strength to fight the disease so that other children do not have to go through what I went through growing up. According to World Health Organization, malaria remains one of the major global health challenges with over 247 million cases worldwide, with 90% of these cases coming from Africa among children below the age of 5. And without intervention, there is an estimate of over 1 billion malaria cases by 2028. In Uganda alone, we still have over 10,000 malaria cases, and still in Africa, we have over 300,000 malaria deaths annually. And it's very unbelievable that around the world, every 2 minutes, a child below the age of 5 dies from malaria. The reason why these cases remain high is because the mostly affected communities lack access to the knowledge that they need about the disease. They lack access to preventive measures. The only available measures for them are the mosquito nets, which are very effective, but only during sleep time. And we identified the most crucial gap where children suffer from malaria or fall sick from, are infected with malaria, and that is between dawn until the children go to bed when mosquitoes start to come while they're still playing. And at Uganix, we have created a solution that is truly creating impact, starting from the core of the problem. We're leveraging everyday household products like soap to fight mosquito-borne diseases like malaria, Zika, dengue fever, among others. And our approach is in 3 ways. Through prevention, we have also built a USSD digital-enabled platform that offers health coverage for malaria and typhoid-related cases, where low-income households are able to subscribe through a $1 per person in their household a month, and they're able to go to the nearby hospitals and receive care when they fall sick or when they get symptoms of malaria. We also do awareness campaigns in rural communities, working with healthcare facilities like public health hospitals. Our products are tested and certified by the National Drug Authority and the National Bureau of Standards. They are validated by institutions like Makerere University and Mannheim University in Germany, with over 10 hours of protection against mosquito bites. And we sell our products through a social business model, leveraging on the high-end markets, including the tourism industry and the local high-end markets, who buy our products at a high profit margin, and we're able to cross-finance them for the low-income communities at the same price as they buy the regular products like soap. We have a big market opportunity, but we're only aiming for just 5% of households in East Africa and 3% of eco-conscious travelers in East Africa in the next 5 years, with an opportunity of up to $9.7 million. And unlike our competitors, our products are multi-purpose. They're everyday household products. They're affordable through a social business model. We made them inclusive with additional health impact. And on top of that, we also empower women through sustainable agriculture. We equip them with essential oil extraction skills, capacity building skills, offer them seed loans and financial literacy skills. To date, we've reached up to 118 women through this program, and 80% of our raw materials come from the women. So right now we have at least 48 women who are earning a stable income of up to $75 a month. This is one of our beneficiaries, Ivoni, with her 7 grandchildren. When I met Ivoni around 4 years ago, she used to visit the hospital at least 10 times a month. And right now, she visits the hospital only 1 to 3 times in like 3 to 5 months. She earns through our Women Empowerment Program, and she has more knowledge about malaria, and she has been able to reduce malaria cases by 88% in her household. And this is a story of other households. To date, we've also reached up to 3.8 million people through our solution, subsidized up to 800 pieces of soap, and we're employing up to 42 women and youths. We've also had revenue growth with up to 112% revenue growth in the last years. And I'm not doing this alone. I have a team of passionate and diverse skilled personnel from business management, financial management, among others, and we're supported by also a diverse, skilled board of advisors. We have goals, and we're planning to raise up to $2.1 million. And this money is to go into some of our goals, including launching our health coverage initiative, expanding through Uganda and expanding across East African countries in the next 3 to 5 years, and also increasing our production capacity, growing our team, among others. And we've been featured, and also we have created partnerships with also people in the industry or in the ecosystem, including players like Johnson & Johnson, Bayer Foundation, and we've been featured on both national and international platforms. And we believe that alone we can do so little, but together we can do so much. So if you're there and you'd like to contribute to the impact, you would like to work with us, join us, because we believe there's no place for malaria in our homes, in our countries, especially since it's preventable. Thank you.
Sin duda una historia muy emotiva y poderosa, la de Joan Rukundo Nalubega, que pretende prevenir y reducir las consecuencias de la malaria y poner en valor a las mujeres de la agricultura. Agradecemos que haya compartido con nosotras en esta sesión. Ahora vamos a dar paso a la siguiente mujer. Se trata de June Muchuku Serere. Ella es fundadora y CEO del proyecto Plan B. Y vamos a proceder ahora a escuchar su pitch acerca de su emprendimiento.
Hello, my name is June Muchuku. I'm the founder CEO of Plan B, which is a child nutrition company based in Kenya. I'm going to start off my presentation in the voice of one of our business partners, Mboni. Here I go. My name is Mboni. I live in Nyandarua. I'm a mother and a farmer. For years, I grew maize and potatoes like everybody else here. But when the rain started failing, my harvest dropped. I was working hard, but earning less each season. When my daughter Tabitha was born, I fed her maize porridge, though I knew she needed more. Then Plan B came to our village. They showed us how to grow crops that truly nourish our children: pumpkins, sweet potatoes, beetroots, millet, the foods that our grandmothers used to plant. I planted pumpkins. They grew so well, but I had no buyers. Then Plan B opened a solar processing hub nearby. Now I take my pumpkins there. We dry and process them into foods that reach children across Kenya. Everything has changed for me and my family. I now earn an income, not only from crops that I grow, but also through our work at the processing hub. I'm really proud of my work. When I see Plan B products in the shops, I tell people, I helped make that. Now other mothers come to me for advice. We grow, learn, and support each other. We're not just farmers. We're not just moms. We are Plan B, the hands and hearts behind it. So the problem we are solving as a company is a persistent one in Africa, one of children malnutrition. It's about a food system that is failing its children. And closer home, majority of the high quality fortified baby foods are imported. And these are priced up to 5 times higher than what local families can afford. And the impact of this is obvious. 1 in 4 children is stunted, which is as a result of chronic undernutrition. And according to UNICEF, only 23% of children under 5 are meeting the minimum acceptable diet. And the paradox is that we're losing up to 40% of harvest due to lack of local processing. So the solution we have as a company is to increase access to affordable child nutrition by making fortified foods from local crops through a women-led value chain. And this is under our key pillars: local sourcing and processing that leads to empowered women, resilient communities, smart manufacturing and innovation, where we have trusted, quality, safe products, and an inclusive market access where no child is left behind. So our business model is this: we are sourcing key ingredients from local farmers, most of them who are smallholder farmers, most of them up to 80% who are women. And then these are fed into the first stage of processing through solar-powered microprocessing hubs that are operated by women groups through what we call the bloom circles. And then after processing, these are consolidated and transported to the central manufacturing facility where advanced processing and packaging and fortification takes place. And the packaged products are taken to market through 2 channels: the B2C market, which targets the retail market, and the B2B, where we work with schools and other institutional partners. The market that we're targeting is significant. It's exciting. It's a 10 billion market opportunities if we just consider the East African market. And this is driven by 4 market growth drivers. 1 is a policy momentum within the region. And in Kenya, it's under the Universal School Feeding Strategy that is targeting 10 million children by 2030. At the moment, we are only feeding 2 million. Then there's a rising middle class and a nutritional awareness. And this middle class is spending up to 15% of its income in children's food. And also a gap for local compliant manufacturer. And most importantly is policies that are from NGO and government that are aligning with local procurement. So it's more than just numbers. It's about, and importantly, about impact. There's a nutrition impact with the goal of ending childhood malnutrition. It's about women impact. We are building a women-powered food system that is creating income and also urgency. And climate impact, where we're making local food production clean, resilient, and low waste. So at the moment, we've just completed the construction post-pilot period. We've completed the construction of a 3,600 metric ton facility, and we're seeking $50,000 to activate production in this new factory, converting our pilot success into full commercial rollout and risking our upcoming seed raise. Thank you.
Increíble todo lo que nos ha transmitido June y su emprendimiento sobre este sistema alimentario que tiene como eje la nutrición a través de una cadena de valor, el elemento principal en los mercados y productores locales operados por mujeres, y también ofrece un impacto sostenible. Damos paso ahora a la tercera mujer de esta sección de Pitch. Ella es Anuri Mabel, la fundadora de Smart Girl Organization.
My name is Anuri Mabel, a women's empowerment advocate. I'm the founder of Power Her, that has been registered as Smart Girl organization. I'm passionate of empowering young girls and young women to rise above the challenges and live a purpose-driven lives. What is Power? Power is a women-led organization that is focusing in promoting education and leadership in our young girls and our young women. We do this through community workshops and school programs and creating events as well. Our main vision is to empower young girls say no to early pregnancy and our young women to know their value. Why I started Power? I started Power when I saw young girls dropping out of school and cut their dream. Not because they lack potential, but because they lack guidance and protection. And I realized I need to act. That is when Power was born. To give hope, to create awareness, and to protect the next generation. What do we need at Power? We need funding to enable us prepare more community workshops, create school programs, and organize events as well. We need resources and training materials to enable us do our mentorship. We also need digital tools and media support that can enable us to create videos of awareness that can reach a wider audience online. We also need partnership with NGOs, grantors, and individuals who have the same vision as Power. And therefore, as I conclude, at Power we believe that when you raise one girl, you raise a whole generation. Thank you, Heroikka and Women's Summit Impact, for giving me this opportunity to share my vision. And together, we will raise young women and young girls who will stand tall, empowered, and unstoppable. Thank you.
No cabe duda que Anuri Mabel nos ha hablado de este ambicioso proyecto Plan B, que se trata de programas y talleres de empoderamiento dirigidos a chicas y a mujeres a través de un hub educativo que pretende ofrecer esperanza y proteger a las próximas generaciones. Qué increíble ha sido escuchar todas estas historias. Cada pitch nos ha recordado que detrás de cada proyecto hay pasión, esfuerzo y un deseo profundo de transformar el mundo. Quiero agradecer de corazón a cada una de las emprendedoras y también a cada una de las que están asistiendo hoy aquí, apoyando y poniendo el corazón. Su trabajo, su creatividad y valentía nos inspiran a todos y fortalecen este tejido de mujeres que se apoya y se impulsa mutuamente. Recuerden que estas iniciativas no solo nos permiten mostrar nuestro proyecto, nos dan alas, nos dan confianza y recuerdan que cada historia merece ser escuchada. Cada proyecto que hemos conocido hoy es una chispa que puede encender nuevas ideas y colaboraciones. Además, quiero invitarles especialmente a asistir al Networking Party este viernes. Es una oportunidad única para conectar, compartir experiencias, descubrir sinergias y seguir impulsando nuestros proyectos juntas. Y hablando de inspiración, les recuerdo participar en la playlist del Woman Impact Summit, que ya tienen también en la cajita de los mensajes el enlace correspondiente. Se trata de un espacio colaborativo donde podemos añadir canciones de mujeres que lanzan mensajes poderosos, dando visibilidad a aquellas artistas con menos exposición y que merecen ser escuchadas, igual que nosotras y nuestra historia. Celebramos la creatividad, la fuerza de cada una de ustedes y de nosotras, me incluyo también. Sigamos conectando, colaborando y apoyándonos, porque nunca sabemos qué puertas puede abrir una historia compartida y un proyecto presentado con pasión.
Muchísimas
Gracias por tu
gracias.
tiempo, tu energía y dejarnos ser testigos de tu talento. Nos vemos muy pronto. Vamos a convertir los sueños en realidad y sigamos volando juntas.
Muchas gracias, Sira. Muchísimas gracias por presentar a todas estas emprendedoras que nos han inspirado muchísimo. Thank you so much to Joanne from Organics, June, founder at Plan B, and Anuri for a Smart Girl organization. Thank you so much for inspiring to all of us today. And Sira, thank you so much for participating at the Woman Impact Summit and all your help. And since we're rushing time and we try to get the agenda as many speakers and women entrepreneurs as possible, we're going to move to our next session. And I'm really excited about this session. It's going to be with the Microfinance Foundation at the BBVA. I'm super happy to introduce to all of you to Laura Fernandez-Lor. She is the head of sustainability, equity, and inclusion at La Fundación Microfinanzas BBVA. And she's going to share with us a lot of information about impact, but we're going to look at it with a different lens. We're going to talk about the vision of the foundation. We're going to talk about changes in reports, deprivations. We're going to talk about the multi-dimensional poverty index. We're going to talk also about disaggregated data, which is one of my favorite words lately. And also, we are going to be checking out where are we heading. Laura, truly a pleasure to see you here today with us. And thank you so much for participating once more with the Women Impact Summit. How are you today? Oh, you're muted.
Sorry, I was muted. I'm super excited and happy to be with you today. I think this is a great opportunity also to combine the stories of the entrepreneurs, of the women entrepreneurs that you've showed just minutes ago, with other visions of organizations like mine, where we work with these type of entrepreneurs on day-to-day basis. So it's my pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting us and having us at the Women Impact Summit today. I hope to be as thrilling or exciting as the previous presentations.
Oh, for sure. And we have a lot to cover because I don't know if you are seeing how we are lining up this first day. We started with impact investment. Now we're gonna be moving a little bit more about the data, indicators. What are you looking in different, when you create different products, and actually the impact that these products, financial products and education are generating in the communities. And for this reason, please, can you share with us what is the impact vision of the foundation with us?
Yes, well, first let me briefly explain what BBVA Microfinance Foundation is. And we are a corporate social responsibility action of BBVA. We're a nonprofit that aims to promote sustainable development of people under vulnerable conditions with productive activities. We have three main strategic objectives: social, economic, and digital inclusion, women's economic empowerment, and environmental sustainability. And moving to the next slide, and jumping in straight to the social impact measurement, this is something that is part of the foundation since 12 years ago already. And it is embedded in our management system, and it allows us to better understand the situations and adapt our strategy so that entrepreneurs progress and improve their quality of life. But it's also very important for us because it informs our strategy and our value proposition. Since 2012, the foundation measures its success based on key economic indicators with a demographic focus, such as the client profile, the business type and development, financial health, and welfare. And the model we use, it is simple and accessible for all stakeholders, as well as operationally viable. It is integrated into management, so it allows us to link commercial and operational strategy with performance indicators and social objectives, and it is also auditable, accurate, transparent, and complete data collection and analysis throughout the process in all our microfinance institutions in Latin America. What we seek is to go beyond the results and understand the impact that access to our financial services has on households and on the lives of these entrepreneurs. Are they improving their resilience and financial health? Are they allocating income to improve their education, housing, or health? Do they generate employment in their communities? Are they producing intangible improvements in their self-esteem and self-confidence to manage their business? These are some of the questions that we ask ourselves with this when we think of the impact of our activities. So looking more deeply into what we do, when we talk, and the starting point, of course, and we talk about the entrepreneurs, the first thing is to know their profile. And if you move to the next slide, you will see that most of them, they're highly vulnerable, they are women, they're concentrated in the urban areas, and they're merchants. 63% are out of a total 3 million entrepreneurs we serve in the region are women. They have an educational level of 30% of primary at best, and 2 out of 3 are in urban areas. 36% of them are accessing the financial system for the first time. That means that they are becoming banked for the first time with one of our microfinance institutions. And this is a percentage that rises up to 40% in rural areas and 53% among young people. And regarding poverty, because our focus is to concentrate access to financial services to vulnerable entrepreneurs, 80% of them are in poverty and 36% in extreme poverty, which means that they're earning of their businesses less than $153 per month. So just to give you an idea, the profile of the entrepreneurs we're serving in the region. If you move to the next slide, you can see also that our focus had to go beyond, of course, understanding who they are, but also what we have to assess is how access to financial products such as credit impacts their businesses. If their sales are growing, if their assets are growing, are they managing our foreseen expenses and unexpected expenses? Are they creating jobs? And are they getting out of the poverty line where they start off? when they start to take credit with our institutions. As you can see here, you can see that in the next slide, you can see that the sales are growing here by 12%. Next slide, please. By 12%, and 63% of them are improving their income since 2019. So they are growing their businesses, and most importantly for us, 53% of them exit poverty in the third credit with our institution. So that is the basics where we started from, and we can take it on from here. But this is how we measure the impact, or we started measuring the impact at the foundation in 2012.
Laura, I see. Thank you so much for all the data that you're sharing with our community. And this is a key importance to find out, especially all the different metrics and this evolution that we are seeing. But people probably are thinking about the impact reports. So can you share with us what are the changes that you have seen in the recent years with these impact reports?
Sure. Yeah, what we have done in the past years is to evolve our impact measurement and going beyond just the business. We wanted to also assess the impact in their financial health and the welfare. Regarding financial health, as you can see in the slide, 1 in 6 entrepreneurs are employing people in their community. So that means that over 150,000 people are employed in the communities. 6% of them are improving their homes after 3 years. 2% are improving the education level. And regarding financial health, 43% increase or improve their financial cushion, and 26% have voluntary insurance. This is especially relevant because we have mandatory insurance to protect them against the risk of not being able to pay their loans because of illness or business interruption or different types of reasons. But 26% are also hiring voluntary insurance. That is important because it can compensate them up to 80% of their monthly surplus in case it is needed. However, we also know that most of them cannot subsist for more than 6 months with their savings. So it is not only enough to assess whether their businesses are growing or not, if we're not looking at these indicators about financial health and whether they can have a cushion and they can have savings in case of a shock or an interruption in their business for whatever reason. And then regarding welfare, what we can see, this is also the other significant evolution is that we have evolved from primarily measuring economic and demographic impact to adopting a multidimensional and holistic approach to well-being. So what does this mean, right? What are we talking about when we talk about multidimensional poverty? This is the most important change in the methodology that we have done in the recent years, and also because we are the first foundation and private actor that has applied the methodology that the UNDP and Oxford uses to measure multidimensional poverty on a national level and on a government level. The importance of multidimensional poverty is that it doesn't only measure how many clients have deprivations, but also the intensity of those deprivations. And we started this effort in 2022, as I mentioned, but in the past year, we measured over 600,000 people through surveys. And we know after these surveys that 15% of them are in multidimensional poverty. And this is higher in some countries where we operate, like Peru or Panama. And we also know that there are 68% of households that have three deprivations at least, and 24% that have four deprivations. So we can go further and deeper to understand this. But this is the major change in our impact model, to shift from just seeing if the business grows to focus on financial health and also multidimensional poverty, so we can access the impact in the welfare of the people we serve.
So Laura, let's go a little bit deeper over these deprivations. Can you explain further what does it mean?
Yes, the deprivations we measure, we have taken the ones that the indicators and the methodology of Oxford, as I was mentioning before. And what we measure is whether, for instance, we measure health, education, housing, services and infrastructure, and digital poverty. So what are we measuring exactly? What are we asking our entrepreneurs, and how do we assess whether they're multidimensional poor or not? Well, in education, what we measure is whether the household members have completed basic education and how many years have them been attending their basic education, or whether they have completed it or not. Then we measure on health, we measure whether the household or the members of the household have access to safe source of drinking water. That surprisingly it is a deprivation which is very intense in many countries still in Latin America, especially in Peru, for instance, and whether they have adequate sanitation services, whether they have a toilet and a private bathroom or sewerage. And then finally, we also measure the housing materials, the qualities of the floor, the roof, the walls, and the overcrowding. How many people are staying in per room in the household? And then digital poverty in the UNDP methodology is part of the housing and services. But since the relevance that it has nowadays, we have extracted it and have considered it as a single dimension. And here what we measure is the access to the internet, and the report highlighted that only 52% of the clients that 52% of the clients are suffering digital poverty. And then we are also including new indicators such as whether our entrepreneurs are using the digital apps and digital channels that we are developing. Are they doing transactions digitally and operating digitally or not? And whether they are doing their onboarding in our institutions digitally through biometric tools, facial or voice, that we have in place. So we are not just looking at access, but we are also looking at usage of the solutions, the digital solutions that we have deployed.
So this is so interesting. I'm taking so many notes. But can you share with us how you measure financial health?
Yes, regarding financial health, this is also one of the new approaches in 2023 and 2024 reports. I didn't mention, but all reports are public online and they can be downloaded since the one in 2012. And the objective is it's not longer to look whether, as I mentioned before, the client grows, but whether he's or she is able to resist economic and climatic shocks. And of course, this includes pandemic, but also includes climate emergencies that we're seeing rising in the region and all over the world, and also economic crisis. And how do we measure exactly financial health? How do we define it? Well, first, it has to do with the savings capacity. It doesn't matter whether it's formal or informal, it's whether you're able to save. Second, whether you have microinsurance and you have acquire a microinsurance, life, health, or disaster, parametric or climate microinsurance, and then whether you have a stability in your income. And that means that your income or the sources of income are less volatile. At the foundation, we have conducted the financial health studies in two ways, in a twofold manner. The first one is that we have done a subjective measurement with more than 5,000 surveys, and measuring how they perceive their financial health levels. And surprisingly, 80% of the entrepreneurs that we asked, they believe they met their financial goals, and 98% believe their ability to resolve emergencies has improved due to access to financial services. So this is quite positive and very interesting. But if we look exactly at the financial health assessed by the level of savings they have and whether they're able to manage their day-to-day expenses with their incomes, what we see is that only 29% are in a healthy situation. That means that they're able to manage their daily lives solvently and maintain their savings and assets for at least 7 months. But 22% of them are in a critical situation. So that means that they have difficulty managing daily life and have no savings or have depleted them. So you can see also in total as a gross indicator that 61% of the households are saving, which is very positive. So it doesn't mean that vulnerable entrepreneurs are not able to save. They do save. The issue is it's not that they save or not. The issue is that they save little, because only 22%, 1 in 5, can subsist for more than 6 months using their own savings. So this is also an area of concern, and we're working and designing strategies so we can tackle the low financial health of the entrepreneurs we serve.
Yeah, that's a very touchy point for sure. I mentioned earlier that we were going to talk about disaggregated data. What can you share with us? What can you tell us about this?
Well, I think that's the third. I mentioned financial health, multidimensional poverty index, and I would say, especially leading the women's economic empowerment strategy, that having gender disaggregated data for us has been essential. We couldn't start or develop a specific value proposition for women entrepreneurs, which are 63% of the total people entrepreneurs we serve, without data, knowing what was their client profile, if their business grow or not compared to the males' businesses, at which pace, whether they were living exiting poverty at higher paces than men or higher rates or not, if their businesses were able to grow, where were they concentrating economically, and so on. So this was the first step, and that's how the strategy itself started, with data. What we can see is that before that, what we did is that we reported the number of female entrepreneurs, and that's it, which sits around 60%. And the move and the evolution has been to disaggregate all the indicators that I mentioned before by gender. So that's what we started doing in 2017. And this was essential to understand the context in which female entrepreneurs develop their activities and understanding their gaps. So we have been able to see gender gaps between men's, women's, and men's businesses. And if you can move to the next slide, you can see the data there, because I think we got stuck. Yes. Next one, please. Sorry. So yeah, you can see that they are more vulnerable compared to men. So 12 percentage points and 14 percentage points in poverty and extreme poverty rates. Their businesses are smaller, their loan disbursements are smaller. So we have assessed the gender gaps in their businesses, and this also has allowed us to develop better products and specific products designs with this gender lens, such as the oncological insurance for women, or maternity leave in microinsurance, or women or rural loans for women that have no land titling, and so on. And you can see there that we have developed even a framework to assess and define out of our financial products which one are directed for women, and we monitor this throughout time. So the best thing I would say, or the data that I would keep out of this, is that what we've seen is that women are 65% of the total entrepreneurs who are overcoming poverty constantly throughout our reports. And if we hadn't had this disaggregated data, we wouldn't be able to assess this, which is quite phenomenal if you think of the gaps, that initial gaps where they start from in their businesses, right? So I would highlight this data. And also I would mention that it has been fundamental to then understand who they are, how they are, what are their needs, what are the gaps, and also develop afterwards specific financial products and services.
Exactly. From our data, and we've been talking in the past and sharing our thoughts about this, we have seen how in the past years, women were able to hold their business globally. At least 5.2% of them were able to hold their businesses, passing the mark of the 3.5 years. In the past years, that rate is going lower. So that's why it's so important to have this disaggregated data, and actually this data allow us to customize the resources and based on their needs. And that's why I want to ask you, where is impact measurement heading? What's next?
Yeah, well, we can move to the next slide then. I think that definitely we have made significant progress in financial inclusion for vulnerable populations in Latin America. We're serving more than 3 million people, but significant challenges are still remaining. And we have labor informality, gender inequality, multidimensional poverty in the region, and many of these gaps are not closing, or are not, we're not able to bridge these gaps. We are continuing our model, but we also want to incorporate new indicators and new components to assess the impact and better improve our financial products and services, our value proposition. So what are the trends? Like, first, we need to include the environmental and climatic dimension. This is the next big frontier. We are operating in regions that are highly vulnerable to climate change. These are clients and entrepreneurs, small farmers, merchants that are very exposed to droughts, floods, and hurricanes. And we need to understand, and we are right now working on assessing climate vulnerability metrics with a risk index per client according to the geographic area, their economic activity, whether they have adaptation measures in place, and so on. So we have to do this. So we are doing this right now. We have some experiences in some of our countries. And what we want to assess after that is to see what is the impact of our green financial services and whether they are able to reduce their vulnerability. Sorry.
Oh, no problem.
I'm catching my breath, sorry.
I know you're providing a lot of information today, so we're really excited about that, Laura.
Yeah. So second, after climate, I would say deepening resilience. I mean, we need to go beyond survival. We need to go beyond financial health. Right now, what the industry is talking about at the high level, in World Bank meetings and so on, it's resilience. It's not enough to know whether the entrepreneur exits poverty. We need to know what happens and how long can they stay out of poverty when a shock occurs. Illness, bad harvest, an economic crisis, a climate event, and so on. So we are thinking of indicators such as what is the recovery capacity, how many months does it take to an entrepreneur to recover their income level prior to the shock, what is the financial stress, what is the liquidity of the household, and the income diversification as well. How are there different sources of income, and can they act as a safety net? And the third one, I think we need to still deepening is digitalization. What is the impact, and moving from the gaps to the usage, as I was mentioning before. So we need also to continue developing different indicators in what is considered a digital client. If you're digital, whether this has an impact in your business or not, and what is the impact of digital training that we're offering to our entrepreneurs. And finally, I would say that the biggest challenge, probably because it is very intangible and hard to measure, but I think this is something that we have been observing throughout the years, is the subjective well-being and agency power, which is, when you talk about women's economic empowerment, it is the hardest probably thing to measure. Are they really empowered or not? Beyond whether their businesses are growing or not, are they empowered because of accessing financial services and because of becoming having higher sales and businesses that are growing. So we need to be able to develop some kind of index about empowerment, with specific questions, and specifically to women, about whether they are participating in the household and the business financial decisions at home, because that accessing resources doesn't mean that they participate, and it's not so straightforward. And also the perception that they have over progress and hope for the future beyond income. So I think we have a long road ahead of us. I think we have done many things, and we are certainly very, very proud and of the efforts that we have done, but we keep pushing further. And I think there is also room for doing more to understand much better the impact of our activity. And we need to move beyond just snapshots of deprivations and business, to being in a more dynamic video that is able to measure the adaptation and the integral well-being and agency of our entrepreneurs. So this is what I had to share with you. I hope it has been somewhat interesting, and I hope I didn't pass a lot over as my time so much. I'm so sorry.
No, not at all. We've been dealing with technical issues, and besides that, this is life. So the only thing that I can say, and on behalf of all our community and all our attendees, is thank you so much for sharing all this information. Thank you. Every time I talk to you, I learn more and more. And it's truly a pleasure to have you here. And I can't wait to continue our conversations in the future to see how we can help more communities around the world to reach that well-being balance between their businesses, financial, digital, and what the future brings next with a new technology that it could be creating a bigger gap, or it could be creating new opportunities. It's something that we will see depending on how we approach it as well. So, Laura,
Thank
any
you so
final
much.
thought? Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you very much, Micah. A pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Have a great.
Thank you, Laura. I really appreciate it. After this amazing presentation from Laura Fernandez Lord, as I mentioned earlier, she is the head Sustainability, Equity, and Inclusion at Fundación Microfinanzas, BBVA. We're gonna move to our next panel. The next panel is related to powering the future, investors' thoughts on today's BC trends. And we have as moderator in this panel, Jen Sum. She's the co-founder and general partner of Primordial Ventures and co-founder at Lila. We also have Mahati Sridhar, partner at Revolutions Rise of the Res Seed Fund, Liz Kelly, managing director of Papa's Capital, and Ann Miller, co-founder and chair of Excel Ventures. Welcome to all of them.
Thank you,
Jen.
Micah.
Hi,
Hi.
Mahati. Hi, Ann. It's truly a pleasure to meet all of you. Hi,
Thank
Kelly.
you.
Liz.
I answered a lot of names.
Thank you so much for being part of the Women Impact Summit. You have seen how we are moving from impact investment to different indicators. And now we're going to go to the other spectrum, BC and their trends. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Micah. I was so excited when we got connected, and I was so excited when you asked me to pull together some other female investors for just like a casual chat about the state of investment in venture capital. So thank you for the introductions. I wanted to give a little bit more context on what everybody does. So I think we'll just do like a quick little round of intros. So as Micah mentioned, my name is Jen Sumi, general partner at Primordial Ventures, which we support early stage software startups based in North Carolina in the US with capital, community, and coaching. So really focused on the earliest stages and software very specifically. And Mahati, do you want to talk a little about Revolution?
Happy to. Yeah. Hi, everyone. It's great to be here today. My name is Mahati Sridhar, and I'm a partner with Revolutions Rise at the Rest. We are an early stage venture capital fund based out of Washington, D.C., USA, and we exclusively invest in US-based companies that are based outside of Boston, New York City, and San Francisco. Our whole thesis is around supporting the rest of the country. We see big enterprise and big business thriving in every nook and cranny of this country, and not enough venture dollars being deployed into all of these ecosystems. And so we're really excited to support founders who are building incredible businesses all across the United States. It's great to be here.
Anne, you want to go next?
Sure. I'm Ann Miller. I'm with Excel Ventures, and thank you to Jen for inviting me, and thank you to Micah for all of this. I mean, this has been fascinating to listen as we've been waiting in the green room. And it's so exciting to see that this is happening. So I am a co-founder of Excel Ventures. We've been around for a little over 5 years, and our focus is we actually offer loans to female-founded companies. So ours are not early stage. Typically, they have to already have revenue being generated because they need to be able to repay the loan. But what we've discovered is that we serve a really important niche in that we are helping women get access to capital, working capital that they may have trouble getting from a traditional bank. We do still have a bit of a process to make sure that they pass due diligence, and we never want to overburden the entrepreneur either. So we really do a lot of coaching and mentoring with our female entrepreneurs to help them understand what they need to know to continue to grow their business. So again, happy to be here.
Liz.
Hey, Elizabeth Kelly or Liz, I'm a managing director at Pappas Capital. We're based in the Research Triangle Park area of North Carolina. We invest primarily in early stage therapeutic opportunities. I'm thrilled to be here today. And actually, even though this is a global event, all of us here are based in the Raleigh-Durham area of North Carolina. So thrilled to be able to invest alongside these great women.
Absolutely. Awesome. So I know, we don't have too much time, so I really want to dive in. And who wants to kind of kick us off as one of the trends that you've been seeing in the ecosystem lately, in investment broadly or venture capital specifically?
I'm happy to jump in. I think one of the biggest trends that we've been seeing, especially in venture capital, is increased time in between funding rounds. So the average time that it takes to go from pre-seed to seed to Series A and beyond continues to expand. And a lot of that can be attributed to a couple of different reasons. One is the ever-changing, rapidly changing macroeconomic environment. Every day we're dealt a totally new hand of cards, and being able to navigate through that really, really puts pressure on early stage startups and founders in particular to be able to pivot and navigate and adapt accordingly. Secondly, with the continuous rise of AI and AI-enabled tools, there's much more capital efficiency that we're seeing with businesses. Founders are delaying hiring. They're thinking about how they can leverage various of these AI tools to expand and build their business in more scrappy ways, which is really exciting. And so as a result, we see founders doing a lot more with, a little bit less capital, and the milestones by which they're trying to build their business kind of expanding a little bit. So that's been, like an exciting development for us. And I think the final pieces as well, as we think about from the investor perspective, what's happening in the market is where people are sort of benchmarking all of the lines in the sand for these fundraise rounds. That definition of what a seed round is, of what a Series A is, that is also shifting. And so as a result, we see, like, with that changing thesis in mind, like the deployment of capital and like the patterns at which capital is being deployed is also pretty different. And so all of these together, we sort of continue to see that shift happen. I think it's an exciting shift for sure, because we see the way and the types of businesses continue to evolve. And I think doing everything a little bit more capital efficiently is always the best way to do it. But it's definitely like a pretty big paradigm shift from this time 5, 6, 10 years ago. So.
And to build on that last point, I think just capital efficiency, but also being really focused on hitting milestones, because it is so competitive fundraising right now that it's really important for entrepreneurs to be really focused on prioritizing how they're spending their capital and really getting to new inflection points such that they can hopefully raise that next round of capital. But being able to prove what they've done with what they've raised, to date, and what they're going to use this new capital for going forward in an increasingly competitive environment.
Yeah, I've seen a little bit more selectivity for sure. More funds going into fewer companies. And so kind of knowing that, like, this is largely a female founder audience, what should some of the founders do, knowing that they're going to need to stand out a little bit more? Obviously focusing on their milestones and being really specific about traction. Should they be raising more capital now, or what do you guys think?
Well, I just want to add that I think that we all, for those of us that have really looked at female or women-founded entrepreneurs or companies and entrepreneurs, we find that the stats tell us that actually women have a tendency to be more capital efficient overall in general. I think we're all just used to working with less and doing more with it. So in all facets of our lives. And so we know that that's true. We also know that, or we have seen statistics that say that female-led companies over the course of maybe 5 years can actually produce higher returns than what their male-led companies may, to those VC funded or equity investors. Sorry, I'm stumbling. But I think overall, what's important is when you do come in as a female owner and you're trying to raise money, whether that's by a loan or through equity investment, I think it is incredibly important to understand your numbers. And I know that that probably sounds like, well, of course, that's what you should know. But it is amazing. I will tell you, I have many people who really have come to us and haven't quite understood the bottom line, how their business, they may have a great idea and they've been maximizing on that idea and they've launched this company around that idea, but they really need to pay attention to their business side. And we also have seen that some women just naturally sort of push that away. So I think it's important that they try to really kind of face what they don't or what scares them. But there's lots of us out there, lots of other women that they can reach out to for mentorship that could help guide them and help them through that process.
That's actually a really good point that I do want to have us chat about a little bit more is what are your thoughts on how to advise women on finding the right capital partner for their business?
Connect with other women. Do your homework on the VCs or the potential investors that you're talking to. And particularly, I think we were just talking about this before we got on here, is look and see if there's another female there's a female at a particular investment shop, whether it's a partner, even if it's not a partner, but building a rapport and a relationship there. I know even when I'm raising money, connecting with LPs that are women, it's just a different dynamic and a different relationship. And that's how, to some degree, you can use the fact that there are less women, whether founders or venture capitalists, to your advantage.
Yeah, I'll double click into that. I think that leverage your network more than anything else to be able to not only do references, but be able to like understand like how different firms like invest into women, what their track record is, how frequently they've been investing, what types of resources and support they do, what percentage of their portfolio companies identify as female or diverse founders. And kind of like try to like understand whether or not this is like a priority or not for them. And for better or for worse, there's a lot of different capital partners out there. And, like very much this is like dating as well, or finding your life partner. You need to be able to have an excellent rapport and relationship with your investors. And so what I would say to this group is be really intentional about who you're taking your capital from. And make sure that that fit is 100%, because this is a relationship that will go through a lot of tumultuous times, and you want to be able to have that confidence and that trust, and that respect between you and that new investment partner. So yeah, that's what I would add.
Yeah, I actually love that. And if you do get into some conversations with an investment partner, you've looked at their portfolio already, you've already kind of vetted them, ask for references. Go try to reach out to some of the founders in their portfolio that they've already been working with for a while and talk to the other founders about what support looks like from that firm. Who is their main point of contact? Do they get shuffled down to a junior level person, or are you still maintaining a relationship with the person that you built in the beginning? And really understand what that relationship is going to look like going forward. And any firm should be able to give you a list of people or connect you directly with folks, but you could also do your own research too.
Well, and along those lines, Jen, it's also, there's the writing the check or the capital that comes in, but it's also what else can the investor do to support you as a founder, entrepreneur, or management team above and beyond just the capital itself? What does their network look like? What do their relationships look like? And to your point, talking to other founders that have worked with them before that can, provide testimonials for how they helped that company succeed. That's a huge selling point, frankly, or not. And I think it's okay. Not everybody is a fit, and it's better to know that at the front end of making an investment rather than afterwards. And and it's too late because it is a long-term relationship.
Absolutely. I was going to say that you really almost have to look at that relationship as a marriage. I mean, you're going to be intense with each other. You are going to be in each other's business, literally and figuratively. So you want to make sure that you as the entrepreneur need to do homework on the company that you're talking to, whatever type of fund you're approaching, and really make sure that the fit is there. And if you're going into it and you also need to listen to your gut, in my opinion. So as you work through and you get to know people, if you're seeing some red flags, pay attention to them. Don't just get sold on the idea of, well, but this is a big firm and they're interested in me. Really pay attention to how they really will support you.
Absolutely. And actually, another thing I wanted to bring up was, now, Mahadi, you mentioned that it's still a little bit of a difficult fundraising environment. One of the trends that I've seen recently is the rise of alternative capital sources. And so I did want to talk a little bit, or let Anne have the floor for a little bit, about what's the impacts that you've been seeing in venture debt and providing loans to companies. Have there been more people reaching out to you?
Actually, yes. I know that locally, at least here in North Carolina, I think some of the pipeline has slowed down for a lot of firms, or at least that's what I've heard. Maybe that's not the case any longer. Maybe that was just the summer, but we've continued to have a pretty steady pipeline. We're thrilled that women are finding us. They don't actually have to, for companies for us to look at, they don't have to be female founded as long as they're female led. So as long as there are women in the C-suite, we will talk to the company. What I will tell you is, I've been around, I was involved with an angel fund, 25 years ago. And back then they didn't really care whether you made money or not. It was more the long term. What's the revenue? What kind of revenue can we generate? Oh, you don't have to worry about your efficiencies yet. Let's just pour money into this idea. That has changed significantly in the last 20 years. And it really is. And as you all know, who are working in equity, I mean, you are paying a lot more attention to the bottom line and how are they running that company today. So we are seeing folks that have gotten to the point where they've obviously have a proven idea because they are revenue positive when they come talk to us. But they're not interested in taking on that equity partner yet and having someone who will be in their ear, giving them advice or trying to move them along. And so I think that there is a niche right now that Excel is able to meet in helping them bridge that gap. Now we've had a variety. We have some companies that we've funded that are more locally based. We've had some that are technology based. So we actually are agnostic on that. I mean, we'll talk to any female founded. Unfortunately for this group, I have to say, only if you're based in the United States. We don't make loans to outside of the country. So I'm sorry for that, because I'm sure there's many of you here that we would love to be able to help if we could. But that being said, I think that it is important to think creatively and outside the box right now to fund your company and to keep it alive. Because to Mahadi's point earlier, I mean, we are being faced with so many obstacles every day. Every business owner is, and the environment changes quickly. And you as an entrepreneur need to be able to pivot as well. And so that means sometimes thinking outside the box.
Yeah, I've also seen a rise in equity crowdfunding, or various ways of crowdfunding, even running alongside a larger venture capital round. Have either or two of you guys seen that happen recently?
Not a ton for our portfolio companies. I think what the common path for us is our founders will typically do some type of friends and family round, rather than like an equity sort of crowdsourced fundraise. Occasionally they'll have an SPV in there, which
Okay.
sort of like has a group of a collection of smaller checks, but they haven't leveraged any of the more like nascent platforms to help with that process and to help facilitate that for them. So it hasn't
hang
been
on.
easy for us. Yeah.
Question, what is an SPV?
Oh, so an SPV is basically a special purpose vehicle. So it's a way that a lot of different investors can come together in a group to invest into a business, which sometimes might be harder to do on their own. And what that vehicle basically does is it helps like advocate and manage the ownership on behalf of that collective investor group into the entity moving forward. So it's a great opportunity for smaller checks and smaller investors to get active within a various like investment opportunity. And it also helps with a little bit of that reporting burden and responsibility from the company's perspective.
Jen, I'll say that on the pharma, biotech, kind of healthcare side, corporates these days are in almost every single round that we see being done, not just kind of drugs and therapeutics, but technology, service, et cetera. And increasingly, these are not just kind of biopharma companies, but there's more tech companies, for instance, coming into healthcare as well. But it's a source of sometimes also non-dilutive funding, because for our companies, they often have multiple programs. And if a partner can come in and invest alongside, other VCs and are also interested in a program, they can provide funding for a particular program and allow a company to continue to progress maybe a second or third program in their pipeline while still internally prioritizing their lead program. But that, I would say, is a growing base of investors, at least in healthcare and the life sciences, over the past couple of years.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I don't know exactly how much time we have to chat. So I just kind of want to open the floor. Were there any other big trends or things that you've been seeing or advice that we can give to the female founders in this space?
I would say
maybe how to stand out.
I was going to say, something I refer to often is having like your own personal board of directors or your fan club. And it's really kind of supporting yourself with people who are champions for you as a person, as a female, as a founder, somebody who could listen to you pitch. And even if they don't know anything about your product or technology, they could give you feedback on how you come across in front of an audience, for instance, or a lawyer friend who can provide you with, a one-off advice type thing. But having people that can speak up for you and advocate for you, make introductions for you, and really be in your camp, above and beyond the board of directors and the group that you may have around the table, but kind of for you personally, I think is incredibly important and empowering.
I love that. Any other advice for how they can stand out?
I think the best thing is kind of maybe jumping off of what Liz just said is, in addition to having that board of directors, have maybe some like confidants that you can like try and test everything with, going out to fundraise, thinking about your pitch, everything sounds awesome to you, but having other perspectives kind of inform you where there are holes, where there are gaps, where there's like misunderstanding or a lack of understanding can just make your pitch much stronger. And so being able to like leverage whomever that can come from can only make you better, stronger, and better equipped for a fundraise and what other future business milestones you may want to tackle.
You actually gave me a little idea too. Having a group of confidants for another purpose too, because being a female founder or running a business at all is a very difficult road and sometimes very lonely. And so ideally you can find some other women who are running their own businesses who understand where you're coming from. Maybe they're not competitors of yours, right? But they know what you're going through. And just having some confidence just to help protect your mental well-being as you're running this gauntlet and, getting used to the word no, especially if you're fundraising. So that's always hard to take, because especially if it's your business, you can sometimes take it personally. So yeah, having those confidants to help boost you when times are low is also really important.
And Jen, maybe you should take a moment and talk about Lila for a second, because the group of women that you brought together as part of that model is very much can be confidants, supporters, advisors, etc. And that's something that could be replicated in other markets, even outside the US.
That's true. Yeah, so that's actually a really good point. So Lila stands for Ladies Investing Local Angels. And one of the things that we always joke about in our investment community is that there's never lines in the women's restroom because there's just not enough women in this area of finance. And so we built this supportive, educationally focused community of women. It's free. We come together once a month and it's volunteer run. To teach women how to become angel investors. We also have a lot of founders in our group who join so that they can learn how they're going to be evaluated and how to start conversations and build relationships with angel investors. So, you know, it's a fun model that can be replicated. We don't have any ownership over like the idea, but it's really great. We just started building out networks of the women that we know in this community, and then opened it up to anybody else who is interested at all in entrepreneurship or angel investing or venture capital or investment in general. And we've gotten together about 300 local women are now members of Lila, and we have about 50 people come out every time to events. And it's a really supportive community. We rely a lot on peer learning. Liz has been a speaker. Anne's actually speaking next week at one of our events. I'll be asking Mahati, I'm sure, at some point soon. So, you know, just leveraging your network to help support other women in the community too is really important.
Jen, this is a crazy idea. I'm sorry to get into this conversation, but I get super excited and I cannot help myself. So it would be super cool if maybe in the near future, and of course, I'm gonna be contacting all these amazing panelists. We can do a session like that, so women can see, you know, what the investors are expecting from them, what they should look at, how they should prepare themselves. Because what I have seen in the past year, talking to other female founders, is that they're getting more and more scared of going or asking for VC money. And I think that, and sometimes many of them, they tell me, it doesn't fit with my well-being balance or with everything else that we're trying to build. So it would be great to maybe gather together and bring more women entrepreneurs and try to find a common ground for all of us.
Sure, that sounds great.
The only thing that I can say is, I don't know if you have any final thoughts, because we need to move to the pitch of the women entrepreneurs. But if you have any final thoughts, please go ahead before I thank everyone in this panel.
I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to speak to all of you wonderful women, and you know, keep supporting each other, and reach out to me if you ever need anything or want to talk about Lila.
Great.
Thank
we
you.
will share your links in.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jen, Mahati, Liz, and thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we're gonna continue with our pitch session. We are extremely excited, as I always mention, to invite women entrepreneurs from all over the world to pitch in front of you. Each one of them will have 5 minutes so they can share their projects and initiatives and businesses with the whole community. And at the end, they usually have an ask from all of us. So get ready for this part of the Heroikka pitches, and they're gonna present their projects from the open call that it was run by Heroikka. Our first entrepreneur today is gonna be Florencia Sulberti, a founding chef at Tribusana.
Hello, everyone. Let me share a small presentation that I have for you. Oh, but I seem to need for somebody to allow me to share multiple presenters. Okay, there we go. All right, so can everybody hear me?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so basically, Tribu Sana is about, hang on, let me get to the start of the presentation. We are trying to build awareness on how we need to go from plate to planet and try to cultivate a lifestyle of wellness and well-being. And I'm actually calling in from Rome, Italy, where I can proudly say that Italy has become, as of October of this year, the first country in the world who has set a law to deal with the issue of obesity. Here, I'm struggling with how to pass the slides. But anyway, as you can see, 1 in 8 of adults here in Italy are living with obesity. And we're also seeing that happening with the children. And I come from many years of working in public health. And I know that any excess weight before the age of 12 can actually have a really long-term dire effect on the child's development and overall quality of life, because chronic diseases start setting in sooner. Now, today I'm dressed here as a chef because not too long ago, I followed one of my second passions, which was beyond public health and prevention. It was food. And I started working as a professional chef at a wellness clinic in Spain, where I realized that a lot of people don't make a significant change in their eating habits until they have crashed into the wall of disease. So everybody here probably remembers a time when we were in lockdown. Well, I actually was trapped in my home with my 2 beautiful aspiring chefs who have always been my greatest source of inspiration, because it made me realize through COVID and trying to explain to little people what is an immune system, how do we keep, the pirates that we called COVID away from, the castle walls, and made sure that the soldiers inside stayed healthy and strong. Well, we started playing around with the colors of the rainbow. And that's how a workshop was given birth to, quite literally, where right after COVID, I would start going to schools, because I realized, well, isn't it better to start developing healthy eating habits from the get-go than later having to actually change them? Because that's where the resistance comes. It doesn't come from the children. When you start to talk to them about eating the colors of the rainbow, they get it, because we associate each color with a specific health benefit. So the purples and blues we associate with antioxidants, which are good for the memory. And so the greens are more for the calcium that's actually in the dark leafy greens, and that's good for the bones. And so they started seeing how much fun it can be to eat a lot of color, which is something that I see that more and more the world is approaching the standard American diet, which is a lot of fried foods, a lot of browns and whites, and not enough of fiber and color. And so we did our own sweet awakening. We didn't always have this awareness that we're celebrating around too much sugar. So, birthdays, what are we really doing? And it's one of the things that I question the adults when I do my talks, because are we celebrating 1 year more of life, or are we celebrating a year closer to developing a chronic disease? And that's really what Tribu Sana is all about. It's how do we encourage healthy tribes to start springing around schools, around around companies, and also in their own home. So when I look at the definition of what is a healthy diet, which I don't believe in diets, we believe in a lifestyle, really, according to the United Nations, it's only health promotion and disease prevention. But we actually think that growth stimulation should also be a part of that. And this is where we start questioning, do we want to maintain the old habits? And we encourage, by partnering up with families, schools, that it's never too late to get onto that ladder. And just a little bit of awareness is enough for a lot of people to just start questioning what they're eating, what's at the end of the fork. And this is really what Tribu Sana is basically trying to encourage people to take a look. Where are we spending time? Cooking at home sometimes is seen as a big chore, but it can also be a moment of connection, where we start becoming more mindful also of food waste, because food waste, a lot of people don't connect the dots between food waste and climate change and global warming. And it contributes, after China and the United States, it contributes the most to global warming. And so we basically tackle like what we call the 5 pains, where there's a lot of confusion. When there's a lot of confusion, I say, just go do one easy step and go backwards. Look at to how your great grandparents were eating, and if that food item didn't exist back then maybe you should walk away from it, because it's probably been produced in some food factory, and it's not necessarily aimed to make us healthy, but it is aimed to make a lot of money. And so we start to try to not normalize these bad habits, but actually give hope. And I have these 5 C's of change that I like to promote, that basically focus on being creative, because a lot of people complain that it's really boring to always eat the same things at home. So we try to be more curious, more critical, like using apps like Heroikka to start questioning what ingredients are in our food that we're eating. Then also how to be more in community, because when it's just one member of the family that wants to change, it's really hard and can be quite lonesome. So going back to the whole sort of get your club of fans, and then be very compassionate, not just with yourself, but with the planet as well. And so basically we try to get rid of all these myths that it can be cooking at home is expensive, it's boring, it's tasteless. And we change all that by sharing strategies and tips, so that when you go into a kitchen, it's not just you on your own, it's the whole entire family, and you're actually maximizing your time, so that within 2 or 3 hours, you've pulled off 3, 4, 5, sometimes more recipes all at once. So, you have healthy choices for the rest of the week. And we encourage strategies like putting, a nice big bowl of fruits in the middle of the house under a beautiful light, so that when hunger strikes, you actually strike for the healthy and not the not so healthy. So there's basically 3 main services. I started with Tribusana Vegans at Home, which is where we do master classes online to try to really motivate people to get more involved into the kitchen. Then there's the Begins at School, which is what I do when I do the educational workshops. And here I do have an ask, because I'm looking for funding so that we can turn my Eating Real Rainbows workshop and try to actually train youths at schools, so that they're the ones who lead the change within the school community. And we actually, on our website at tribusana.com, you can actually look at the case study of my kids' current school, where we managed through a whole bunch of workshops and cooking and interactive cooking classes. We got them to unanimously ask to replace fish fingers, which is a processed and fried food, with vegetable sticks and hummus. So we thought that was a real win. And now what we're realizing is that the kids go running home and saying, we want to eat the colors of real rainbows, but the parents are still kind of dragging their feet behind, because the easiest thing to do is just pull out the freezer, put, those chicken nuggets into an air fryer or the oven, and that is called dinner. So now I'm doing more speaking events at work, where I can try to really empower the parents with the same notion of, we got to eat more color. It's not about loving broccoli, because broccoli every day is not so great for you. You need to have the whole wide range of color, and really empowering the smallest of eaters to become wiser about their food choices, because very often they're left to their own devices. When they go to a restaurant, they're like, look at the children's menu, which there's no vegetable that comes across that children's menu, and you take a pick of what you want to eat, but they don't know. And so we try to connect. So we call it the AWARE
Thank you
program.
so
We want them
much,
to connect.
Laura.
And anyway, so visit
Thank
our
you.
website, and let me know if you have any questions.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I
No,
mean,
no,
we
no, it's
are
fine.
really enjoying your pitch, but we have strict rules we want to share with everyone and give visibility to everyone. Thank you so much for your work, and we're gonna be sharing your information with all the community in our website for sure, and all the information of all the women that are pitching today. Thank you so much,
Okay.
Florence, for
Thank
the
you.
work that you're
Okay.
doing.
All right.
Our next woman entrepreneur is Noelia Cánovas Pérez. She is the CEO and co-founder of Es Tu Actitud.
Hola, soy Noelia Cánovas, CEO y cofundadora de Es Tu Actitud, una empresa de consultoría, educación y formación especializada en desarrollo humano. En primer lugar, gracias por la invitación, gracias por la oportunidad de compartir y de hablar de, una de las cosas que más me gustan en el mundo, que es el emprendimiento. Y es que me preguntabais que ¿por qué emprendí? Y realmente yo me preguntaba, es que ¿cómo no iba a hacerlo? Desde pequeña siempre me encantó el emprendimiento, de hecho Ya con 6, 7 años hacía pulseras con macarrones y con un montón de cosas e intentaba siempre venderlas a mi familia, a mis amigos. Esa parte de negocio ya estaba viva en mí. Así que conforme fui creciendo, me fui formando en aquello que es mi pasión, como es la educación, la psicología, el emprendimiento y la digitalización, y todo eso unido llegó a formar esta actitud. Y es que en esta actitud nos dedicamos a entrenar la actitud de las personas a través de la formación. Ponemos el foco en aquello que nosotros llevamos dentro, esa llave que tiene la posibilidad de abrirnos muchísimas puertas. Así que bueno, ya contada de qué trata mi empresa y quién soy yo, simplemente deciros el qué nos gustaría, ¿no? O cuáles son nuestros objetivos, en este caso a medio y largo plazo. Y bueno, también diría que a corto, y es fomentar más alianzas y generar nuevas estrategias con diferentes entidades, además de aumentar también nuestra visibilidad en nuevos entornos. Así que bueno, si te ha gustado mi empresa, si te gusta la idea y quieres encontrar más información, por el chat te van a dejar diferentes enlaces para que puedas conocernos y estaré encantada de conoceros yo a vosotros también. Muchísimas gracias por escuchar, que paséis un súper feliz día. Un abrazo, ¡hasta luego!
Thank you, Noelia. Our next entrepreneur is Andrea Molnarne Laszlo. She's the founder of My Nova Mind.
Thank you for the possibility. Hopefully you can see me. So can you see my slides? Would you give me a
Yes, we
feedback?
do. Yes, we do.
Great. So I am Andrea Molnár László, a Hungarian research teacher and an innovator. Basically, I am a language teacher, but in the late 2022, I had to learn a new language. It is the language of AI. And when ChatGPT emerged, I saw it not just a tool, but it's a social storm. Yeah, so I think AI is equals stack plus possibilities plus challenges, and of course plus risk and new dangers. So to address this, I developed a new language teaching methodology called AI-based language teaching methodology, and I train my colleagues through webinars and courses and conferences. An OECD survey shows that 22% of teachers are women and they adapt slower to tech, but it's not for laziness. It's the consequence of 3 shifts, family, growth, and work. So 3 shifts in one day, and I've been there. So why did I become an entrepreneur? My intention stands on 3 keywords. It is technology, digital gap, and responsibility. As I see, technological revolution waits for no one. And if we who can understand it and follow changes don't have those who are trying to keep up, then the digital gap will deepen. And I think that responsibility is to make the world a better place to live by empowering our colleagues and surroundings to use AI as wisely and smartly and without fear. So the problem I would like to address stands on 3 pillars. It is fear tsunami, technophobia, and sudden change. So I am building a bridge between the new era and empathy and AI awareness. So My Nova Mind doesn't sell software, it sells soft skills. We build confidence and AI skills, and we train our customers to become more competitive. I have 2 focus groups. As I told, the teachers is the most important one. Teachers who are mainly women, and I trained them to become an AI literate educators. And after my school-based program, after the success of my school-based program, I was invited to extend my approach to SMEs. And my other focus group is Women Lead SMEs, where I manage and ease the cultural shock of caused by AI transformation. Let me say an example. I was working with a 30 members SME, and where the main obstacle was fear. And after 6 weeks hard working, the technophobia decreased by 78%, and the leaders' awareness increased. The leaders' awareness about how communication and motivation and trust is transforming in their team. So I think that my model is proven. I trained more than 400 teachers, and I can reach more than 4,000 members in my Facebook group. I reached a 78% adoption rate in 6 weeks, and I would like to, my dream and plan is to become international, mostly in Europe. So why now? Because technology won't wait, but we will wait for women who shape tomorrow. So join us and let's build the bridge. And my need or need is to build a supportive ecosystem, increase our visibility, establish strategic partnership, and attract capital. But this, what does it mean exactly? Capital is not for survival, but for growth. So my goal is to scale our proven model across Europe. Within 18 months, I would like to reach more than 2,000 teachers across Europe and secure 5 major B2B contracts. So invest in empathy, invest in mind over mind. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Andrea. Our next entrepreneur is Danielle Hodge, founder and CEO of Alma Ocean and Alma Swim Foundation. Andrea, you can turn off your camera. Thank you so much.
Sorry.
Hi, Danielle.
Hello. Hello, everyone. My name is Danielle Hodge, and I'm the founder and CEO of Alma Ocean and Alma Swim Foundation. At Alma Ocean, we design culturally inspired aquatic accessories that bring representation to the water. Children ages 1 to 4 die from drowning more than any other cause in the US. And 40 million American adults say they can't swim. Black and brown children are drowning at a higher rate in the US due to limited swim education and a massive fear of the water. I was almost one of them. I nearly drowned as a child. I became a strong swimmer and an advocate and champion for my community. I turned my mission and my story into a mission. We are funding swim lessons through each purchase, and we're saving lives through water competency. We're reintroducing the joy of swimming, and particularly in the Black community. Drowning is preventable, and we're turning water culture into a safety net. We need more representation in the water, and it's very, very important. So far, we've funded over 500 swim lessons last year. We even received a proclamation from the mayor here in Orlando to have an official day, which is called April Pools Day, because drowning is not a joke. We even had an influencer purchase our product on their own and do a video on TikTok. And within 10 minutes, we had over 4K in sales. I mean, it's not that much, but it's something, right? I partnered with Howard University swim team to fundraise, and they used our products in their relay races, and that gave us really great exposure. Our products add a splash of culture, which fills a void in the market, and it speaks to a culture and demographic who really need the support and have needed it for so long. swimming should be fun, right? So at Alma Ocean, we look at swimming as a space of building confidence and keeping fun in the forefront. And our ask is for 150K. What we'll do with this is get more inventory, expand our team, and marketing collaborations. But I have a couple more things to ask. It's not monetarily, but another way that you can help is warm introductions to angels who might have an interest in what we're building. Mentorship is also a great thing. I can use all the mentorship. I heard somebody earlier mention something about getting advice from lawyers, and I need all of that, even accountants. Brand, I want to take our brand and build collaborations that might want to expand in the aquatic space so we can expand our reach and connect with more people. Maybe Nike Swim, something similar. So what do you say? Let's connect and come on and let's dive in.
Thank you so much, Danielle. For sure, we'll keep you posted. And now you have access to all this big community. Thank you so much for the work that you're doing.
Thank you.
Our next entrepreneur is Silvana Luzmila Flores Chavez. She's the CEO and founder at Green Metallurgy Technologies. Hola, Silvana.
Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo están? Qué gusto. No sé si se me ve en la cámara, no lo sé.
Sí, se te ve perfectamente. Los próximos 5 minutos son tuyos. Gracias.
Ok, gracias también. Sí, bueno, quería, un rato si me permiten compartir mi PPT, sí. Bueno, mi empresa se llama Green Metallurgy Technologies. Es una empresa que se dedica a la generación de patentes verdes de sector minero. Y básicamente esta empresa nació hace 12 años porque ganamos un concurso de inventos a nivel nacional en Perú para remediar aguas de mina, ¿no? Y la idea justamente es que nosotros como emprendedoras tecnológicas básicamente diseñamos, soy ingeniera metalúrgica de profesión, vengo de Perú y me he especializado en descontaminar este tipo de relaves, ¿no? Todo tipo de relaves que son la basura de la minería. Una vez que uno procesa un mineral, queda un residuo, no valioso, que de una manera tiene trazas de metales valiosos comerciales y no. Entonces, de una otra manera, queda em, estos residuos dispuestos de manera mal gestionada ambientalmente y están expuestos a libre contaminación en el aire, por el suelo, por el agua. Entonces nosotros ante esa problemática, sobre todo de las mineras artesanales, es que de una u otra manera propusimos que se dé una solución sostenible a través de la estabilización físico-química de este material, ¿no? Y en ese sentido es que justamente nosotros proponemos, no sé si se ve el material que estoy poniendo, no lo sé, ¿se ve? Creo que no se ve aún, ¿no? Bueno,
Sí, se
como
ve la
les...
presentación.
Sí, entonces como les decía, de una u otra manera, este relave contamina el ambiente. Es por eso que nosotros decidimos crear este ladrillo que ven acá. Es un ladrillo ecotecnológico, es una probeta en realidad que ha sido sometida a la resistencia a la compresión con la única finalidad de dar una solución sostenible a todos los relaves mineros del mundo. Bueno, en Perú somos un país netamente minero, pero también entendimos muy claramente de que es importante de una u otra manera poder dar solución sostenible. Es por eso que nosotros creamos este ecosistema Green Metal Technologies que está conformado por un conjunto de patentes verdes, ¿no? Esas patentes verdes son un kit tecnológico de 6, las cuales permiten descontaminar todo tipo de relaves. Entonces, este tipo de relaves que les comentaba, de una u otra manera, son de esa naturaleza polimetálica, sulfurada, oxidada, y nuestra propuesta de valor básicamente es dar un valor sostenible mediante la transformación de estos relaves dispuestos como arena de mar, dispuestos libremente y contaminados a las personas, otros dando una forma físico-químicamente estable. Esta es la manera. Y no solamente eso, sino también reducimos las brechas de infraestructura aquí en nuestro país y en Latinoamérica en general, ¿no? Porque sabemos que hay tanta contaminación y nosotros básicamente vemos un problema como una oportunidad de desarrollo. Vemos a los pasivos ambientales mineros, los relaves, como una oportunidad de activarlos y de alguna u otra manera estos relaves puedan convertirse en activos de tal manera que la economía se dinamice y que con una mina cierre, pues estos relaves sean parte de los insumos de agregados de construcción o ladrillos ecotecnológicos. En otras palabras, creamos un nuevo clúster de economía circular basada en la remediación de relaves mineros para fabricar estos ladrillos, agregados de concreto para fabricar pistas, veredas y un sinnúmero de infraestructura vial, o a una infraestructura que carezca una comunidad impactada por la minería una vez que la mina cierra. Es bien sabido que a veces hay una ironía, una paradoja del desarrollo, ¿no? Hay un lema que un famoso ecologista en Perú decía, desarrollo versus destrucción. Entonces, de una otra manera, me parece que nosotros tenemos que tener en cuenta de que debemos de una manera u otra descontaminar. Y según el Banco Mundial, la minería climática inteligente se impuso en el 2019 y están obligados a todos los países que desarrollan minería a aplicar la minería climática inteligente. Y nosotros hace ya, bueno, hace 21 años, yo ya había propuesto la economía circular de relaves, es verdad, ¿no? Y gracias a Dios, eh, el Banco Mundial en el 2019 propuso esa metodología de hacer minería verde con transición ecológica justa. Y es que nosotros pues, siempre lo hemos propuesto, siempre, ¿no? Y encontramos en nuestra tecnología esa posibilidad, básicamente, ¿no? Eh, bueno, nosotros nos encuentran como Green Material Technologies y si queremos demandar algún otro requerimiento para posibles socios, nosotros estamos abiertos a la innovación. Nuestra innovación es cerrada porque tenemos patentes, ¿no? El Ministerio de Producción nos financió, pero también nosotros estamos, como siempre, todo este spin-off que está compuesto por un conjunto de patentes verdes, ¿no? Que es un poco un nivel mayor que las startups, requerimos obviamente inversión aproximadamente de $50,000 a 500,000, porque dependiendo de la naturaleza del relave, dependiendo de la naturaleza del escalamiento que queremos, es justamente que nosotros podemos pedir que se invierta, ¿no? Aparte de ello, requerimos expertos, asesores legales en tema de transferencia tecnológica de invenciones verdes para transferirlo al Estado o a un país determinado, ¿no? Estamos hablando a nivel global ya, ¿no? Porque tenemos la expertise de tener patentes verdes en Perú, sí, pero el tema de la transferencia tecnológica no es es un poco que tenemos que darle un poco más de fuerza en Perú. Y les comento una anécdota, ¿no? Para ayudar en este tema, nosotros nos preocupamos siempre que la tecnología dé una solución concreta y sostenible al país y al mundo, porque sabemos que en Perú hay más de 8.600 pacientes ambientales mineros. Y gracias a esta solución que se desarrolló hace 21 años, que con nuestra empresa hace 12 años lo tenemos, estamos muy seguros de toda la tecnología que hemos desarrollado. Hemos llegado a un TRL aproximadamente a 6, ¿no? Nos falta a nivel industrial, ¿no? Netamente para trabajar una mina, ¿no? Hemos trabajado una mina pequeña, pero como es una mina grande. Y en general, para todas las personas que requieren nuestra asesoría, estamos dispuestos a apoyar. Requerimos también socios inversionistas ángeles, ¿no? Como especie de padrinos, para que puedan apoyar con nuestra tecnología y puedan ver que la tecnología que nosotros proponemos es netamente científica y tecnológica, porque tenemos un kit de patentes verdes, tenemos más de 6 patentes verdes que cada año creamos uno, evolucionamos, como dicen, ¿no? Porque queremos evolucionar para remediar, es la manera, ¿no? Esos son los títulos de patentes de las relaves, ¿no? En realidad hemos hecho todo un kit tecnológico y estamos muy seguros de la tecnología que tenemos en nuestras manos y que hemos participado en concursos en Corea, por ejemplo, un concurso de inventos en Corea, donde puras mujeres participan, se llama Kiwi, ¿no? Es básicamente ganamos por medidas de todo tipo, oro, bronce, por la idea es darle valor, agregar el conocimiento a través de la economía, pero también a su vez darle una oportunidad a tecnología latinoamericana, tecnología que está revolucionando el mundo y que puede ser escalable a nivel exponencial, disruptiva, ¿no? Porque imagínate,
Muchísimas gracias.
sí, muchas gracias
Muchísimas
también.
gracias, de
Agradezco,
verdad,
María.
Silvana, y sobre todo por tener a mujeres en este tipo de industria. Thank you so much, Silvana,
Thank you.
because
Okay.
it's not so easy to see more women in this industry. Thank you so much. And we're going to go with our last woman entrepreneur for today, Aura Chacon, founder at Tunjo Smart Solutions.
Thank you so much, Micah, and thank you, everyone. I'm really excited. So if you see me nervous, it's because I am. So I would like to talk today about Tunjo Smart Solutions and how we are transforming agriculture through soulful technology. So I am Colombian, and I am international business administrator. It's my profession. And I'm also CEO of the Tunjo Smart Solutions, but I did not start here. I actually started in the farming business and actually in the agricultural business by selling products, selling exotic fruits to international markets. I reached a very important landmark in my professional career by going with our exotic produce in Colombia, such as bizales, passion fruit, for the first time in the Azerbaijan's supermarkets. And I was living my dream of visiting international trade shows, bringing our international buyers to the farms. But then I reached a point where I realized there was something off. And I actually encountered the food paradox. And the situation here is that 8 out of 100 people in the world suffers hunger. And I couldn't get a grasp on it because I don't understand how is it possible that we produce enough food to feed the entire population, yet 1/5 of the food we produce goes to waste. I couldn't understand this, and since I was working in the agricultural business, I realized there was a problem that needed to be solved. So I started wondering what the market was, and for example, in Colombia, the export of agricultural products equals $1.2 million. 33 of the total of exports goes to agricultural and food products. 70% of all the produce that we consume internally comes from small growers, and 15% of all the food that is produced in the world comes from Latin American countries, yet we suffer famine. So I started noticing that the offer around there is that the technology companies are offering, or actually are telling the growers what they need in terms of technology, not keeping in mind that the growers many times don't know what they need in terms of technology. So I joined my brothers, Javier Chacon and Fabian Chacon, which are more in the side of the technological and data analysis to reduce economic losses caused by the lack of information, the low quality of products, and the difficulty to access highly demanding markets, such as European markets, for all agricultural suppliers. How do we do this? Well, we first start diagnosing the technology literacy, because we cannot dream of implementing technology for agricultural products if we don't know what the tools they're using. Second, we develop solutions to improve data capturing and management. Then we integrate all this data in our platform, which is called Tunjo Analytics. And then we train the staff in the use of these technologies. We want to go from this chart that you see in the screen is the left, which is very common in agricultural processes and agricultural industries, to the one to the right, which is a more complex and more detail-oriented chart. So this year was the first year of a serious operation. So we reached $35,000 in sales. We have reduced the loss of our customers up to 12%, and we expect to reduce 30% and reach $2 million sales in 2030. These are the global goals for sustainable development that we would like to approach. We would like to cover them all. It's very difficult, but we would like to reduce hunger, provide gender equality, both in technological assessment and agricultural, and sustainable cities and communities, and responsible consumption and production. Finally, our ask is to connect with mentorship. I'm really looking forward to learn from all these brilliant women that we've seen. We're looking also for alliances with associations of growers, angels, and ambassadors, because we want to turn losses into opportunities for thousands of growers, such as my grandparents. And thank you so much. You can connect with me. You can find us through Tunjo Solutions in LinkedIn, Instagram, and you can send me an email. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much, Aura. So thank you to all the women entrepreneurs, Florencia, Noelia, Andrea, Danielle, Silvana, and Aura. And next, we're going to have a panel regarding creating impact through mentorship. And the moderator is Dr. Kim R. Grimes, emotional and wellness life coach. We have also Raven Thistle, a speaker and author, Rosalind Wesley, founder and CEO of Wesley Consultant Services, and personal growth specialist and life-changing coach, and Tammy Cooper, CEO and CFO of Technologent. Thank you to all of you, and welcome to the Woman Impact Summit. Dr. Kim, I see you that you are connected. Oh yeah, you can put your camera on now.
Okay, it now gave it to me. Okay,
Right.
hello. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. I want to make sure I get to welcome everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Micah. I really appreciate it. So,
You're welcome.
ladies, you're welcome. Thank you. Sit back, fasten your seatbelt because we have something for you. Again, welcome to our panel on discussion of creating impact through mentorship. See, mentorship is more than guidance. It's more than just guidance. It's transformational. It's transformation that is, and it's life-changing. It's about scaling your business. It's about connecting. It's definitely about growing, right? And most importantly, it is about helping others to rise. Again, I'm Dr. Kim R. Grimes. I'm your host today, and we are joined by three dynamic, phenomenal women who are all entrepreneurs in their own right. But each of them represent a unique side of mentorship. So please, you were already introduced to them, but I want to tell you who they are again. Tammy Cooper. She's a mentor dedicated to empowering others through her experience and her wisdom. Whoop, whoop, right? Rosalind Wesley, a mentee who her journey shows how mentorship can unlock, and I said unlock, potential. And Raven Thistle, an entrepreneur. Now, I want to say this as well. All the ladies on the panel are entrepreneurs. But Raven is an entrepreneur who sees mentorship, and she can see like driving like the real business, but also personal growth. So let's start our panel by hearing from each one of you, right? One of you ladies in one sentence, please share with us, what does mentorship mean to you? And we're going to start with you, Rosalind.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Kim. And I want to tell you, you kind of like tapped into the question that you're asking me, because when I look at mentorship, I look at like-minded people, in this case, powerful women,
Yes.
who one is guiding, the other is growing. And together, both are rising through the process.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Dr. Kim.
You're welcome. Okay. Come on, Tammy, share.
When I look at mentorship, I think it means guiding others with empathy and experience so they can grow with confidence, purpose, and a sense of possibility.
Yeah, that's juicy. Okay, Raven, come on.
Juicy was the word I was thinking of.
That part.
So mentorship for me, when I think of mentorship, I think of it as a friendship that is rooted in mutual growth.
Oh, wow. That's good too.
I
Okay.
like that.
Yes. Okay. So let me ask you this, Tammy. What inspired you to become a mentor? And tell us, how has that journey evolved for you? Please share.
No problem. My inspiration comes from my own journey as a woman entrepreneur, navigating all the challenges of building and leading. I have a tech company. When I started, I often found myself in places where very few women had experience that taught me the importance of visibility, representation, and support. Along the way, I was fortunate to have mentors who not only shared their knowledge, but also helped me find my voice, trust my instinct, and embrace leadership on my own terms. As my career evolved, so did management of understanding what it means to be a mentor and how to lead. Leadership is not just about managing teams or driving innovation, but lifting others. It gives me a deep appreciation of the ripple effect of encouragement. It makes me give back. It's a passion and a responsibility that I take to heart. It's an opportunity to give back to my community.
Oh, yes. And I want you guys to know that Tammy is an amazing mentor for sure. And that's why I'm so happy that she's on my team, right? As a mentor. Thank you so much, Tammy. Thank you. Okay, Rosalind, how did you connect with your mentor, right? And what made that relationship meaningful to you? What made it so juicy?
Hey, so Dr. Kim, we always got that good friend, that one person. So I'm excited about starting my new business. And I was talking to this friend and I was like all over the place. I mean, I'm vision. I got vision. I got everything going, right? So she said, "Hey, Roz, I'm in this mentor program." She said, and it is so amazing. Happened to be the mentor program that you're over, Synergy. And she said, they can help you because she must have seen in me everything that I needed. They can teach you the leadership and guidance, how to stay structured, the financial side of business. So she told me, she said, hey, here's the website. Do the application. And she kept hounding me. Have you done the application yet? Have you? Hey, I completed the application and I was accepted into the mentorship program. By being accepted in that program, that's how I connected with my mentor. Kim and her team, they looked over my application, and I know y'all, it was all over the place. I know it was because my ideas was there. But what her team did was they hooked me up with the mentor. And this mentor, my first mentor though, was, somebody where I needed for right then. But once talking to Kim and her team, they switched me to another mentor where I can move even further into the future of what my business needed to look like. So the relationship between me, my mentor and me was built because of Kim, the mentorship program I was in. They seen what I needed. Even when I didn't see it in myself, they knew what I needed. So yeah, that's how I got connected.
That's it. So we'll tell you a little more about the mentor program, but right now let's ask Raven. Okay, as an entrepreneur, being you, how has mentorship influenced your ability to lead, right? And to grow both professionally and personally?
Yeah, I love this question because for me, there is no separation between who I am professionally and who I am personally. My personal evolution journey has fed directly into what I do professionally. And so mentorship has been a cornerstone of my life for at least the last 10 years. And when I think about the way that it's influenced my ability to lead, the first thing that comes to mind is that the first thing mentorship did for me was give me the audacity to bring my future self that I kept envisioning into my present reality. So I had this really gorgeous idea about what my life was going to be like one day, that I would be this speaker because I loved speaking. I had been invited to speak many times since I was like 17 years old. I was on stage. I had this dream of writing books. One day, whenever I save up all this money from my jobs and retire, I'm going to spend the last of my years writing books and speaking and coaching people, and I'll do all these things. But in the present moment, what I had was fear. What I had was a story about who do you think you are? You're too young. Who's going to want to listen to you? You don't have enough experience in this or that. And so it fed this idea that all of the dreams I had needed to happen in the future. But when I met Dr. Kim R. Grimes, she immediately, I viewed her as a mentor and I introduced her to people as my mentor for years. She introduced me as her friend, which is why for me, a mentor is a friend. And so what our friendship brought out of me first was the audacity to take that future version of myself and start showing up right now as parts of that person. And that path has led me to, I don't have a 9 to 5 anymore. I'm a speaker right now. I'm an author right now. So yeah, that's one of the ways that mentorship has influenced my life as a leader and to grow.
Awesome. So, Rosalind, can you share a specific way that your mentor helped you overcome a major challenge in your business or in your life?
That's a good question following Raven, because I didn't know my own worth.
Tell it.
I just knew that I wanted to help women. I wanted to help people that was in the childcare industry. I knew I had this gift inside of me, but I didn't know that I could charge people for my services.
Yes.
And then when that was brought to me, because I was thinking, well, they just love me. And I mean, I've never had anyone pay me because I was doing everything for free. So the challenge for me was, how do I turn this ideal, this freebie, into prosperity?
Right.
Because I didn't see that. And that's where my challenge was. And it's funny because Dr. Kim had to write down, listen, you got 40 years experience, 40 years times hours, times this. I mean, she made this long division chart of how much my worth is. I wouldn't have never seen that without this mentorship. Because I would have been still charging, that minimum wage, whatever they wanted to give me. But no, my worth is more than that. So once I got that together, when I build my programs, when I look at things that is needed and what I'm doing, and my offer is my offer. And if you cannot pay my offer, then that means that you're not really for me. But I will try my best to help find someone that can support you, because I'm, especially a female, a woman, I'm not going to leave them just hanging.
Right.
So I'm going to try to find them someone else that can support them in that area. But my worth is so important. So like I said, it was a challenge. And it's still hard for me to put that cash amount, that money amount on my business. But I know to connect with people that say, hey, you're coming in too low. You're coming in too low. You got to raise the bar. You got to get yourself worth.
Absolutely.
You got to charge what you're worth.
Absolutely. And you are worth it, because you're more than enough, right? You're more than enough. And so thank you so much, Rosalind. Thank you, because I'm quite sure there are many of those on this listening and watching that felt exactly how you felt. Exactly. And they may still be there. So thank you for sharing that. Okay, Tammy, please share with us a moment when you realized, when the light came on for you, right, that you realized your mentorship, you being a mentor, made a real difference in somebody's life.
Thank you, Dr. Kim, and to keep up the passion, I had a young woman I supported over many months. When I first met her, she was talented. She was full of ideas, but she was hesitant. She doubted her abilities, questioned whether she could run her own business, and felt overwhelmed by the challenges ahead. I saw myself in her. How many times in my early career I felt uncertain, alone, unsure, insecure, and I made a message to dominate by others. We worked on practical steps, business strategy, networking, planning, but most importantly, we talked about mindset, self-belief, and resilience. I shared my own struggles, my failures, my lessons that I learned, because I knew what I was hearing was someone else's vulnerability that can make the impossible feel unattainable. She began to see possibilities instead of limitations in herself and began to trust her voice. Months later, she called me. She had officially launched her own business. Now she has grown into a confident entrepreneur, even mentoring others, witnessing the mentoring effect going forward.
Wow, that's when you know. When you see growth in others, when you see someone that you poured into, and you're not necessarily saying you're still holding on to their hand, but you poured into them, and you're like, okay, you know how you go ahead and walk, and you see them soar because of the growth. That's the difference.
Change your mindset. Change the way you believe.
That's it. Come on, Tammy. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, Raven, what role do you believe mentorship plays in closing opportunity gaps for women and minority founders or minority women business owners?
You know what? I could speak to this from a statistical standpoint, but I think we all know the stats of how having a mentor, having a sponsor, having a coach, makes such a dramatic and exponential difference for a woman business owner or a minority business owner. I want to speak to this from a personal standpoint. We are living in an unprecedented time in American history where on one end, we are living in so much of the manifestation of civil rights activists, suffragists, womanists, their work and their impact on what's available to us. And what we've discovered in this season, in the stretch of the last 20 years or so, is that we still have so much more to do and so much farther to go. And specifically the issue with women business owners is that when we are the ones that step up, usually we're the type A one, we're the one with the answers, we're the one with the resources, and we're expected, or we feel like we need to have it all together. We need to have the answers. We need to know which way to go. The beauty of mentorship is we get the space to have the vulnerability to say, we don't have the answer. We don't know where to go, because the truth is, collectively, we're creating something brand new. We are creating something that's never existed before. And the only way we're going to be able to do it is together. We got this far by working together. And the only way that we're going to get the next step is to be vulnerable enough to say, I don't know which way to go. I'm not sure how to solve this problem. My marriage is falling apart. I can't even focus on my business right now. I'm scared. I'm afraid. What did you do when you were scared? What worked for you? What didn't work for you? When I decided to vulnerably be honest about what was really happening in my heart, my mind, and my life, I created the space for a mentor to help me and give me the answers. And so for those of us on the call right now who are the strong one, the strong friend, the one that your family members call when they need $20, the one that everybody thinks has it all together, and you pride yourself on, all right, I'm gonna cry in the car and then I'm gonna get it together and go back in there. I want you from this moment to be empowered to allow yourself to be seen in the fullness of who you are, where you are, so that the right mentor can come along and pull you along to the next level and help you get to where you need to go.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. And that's the thing. You want to be pulled, right? And I know I said something about pushing, but the real thing is being pulled, right? Because when you push, it doesn't feel good, right? So when you're pulled along, that's what mentorship is about as well. Being pulled along, even if you don't want to. Even if you don't want to. Okay, Tammy, please share with us, how do you measure the success or the impact of your mentorship relationship? How do you measure it?
I measure it in several different ways. I measure it with a focus on growth, confidence, empowerment, not just immediate results or milestones. Early in my own career, I knew how vital support and guidance would be, especially in places where women are unrepresented. That experience shaped the way I approach mentorship. I want to help others not only navigate challenges, but also see possibilities they may not recognize for themselves. The clearest indicator of success for me when a mentee trusts their own judgments and takes actions independently. It may be small steps like speaking up in a meeting, refining a business idea, or making a decision that they were hesitant to make. Over time, it becomes evident that they have confidence, that they're able to no longer self-doubt, that they no longer have self-understanding. It's helped them to internalize not just practical guidance, but also belief in their own abilities. They grow up and they mentor others. They give this to others and they lead initiatives and advocate for themselves in ways that no one's ever imagined. One of them I see is the quality of the relationship itself. A mentor that fosters trust, openness, and mutual learning is one where both parties continue to grow. I see it as a partnership. By helping someone recognize their potential, they step into their power and they create opportunities, not just for themselves, but for their communities and industries they work in.
No, absolutely. So thank you so much for that. Because it's important to be able to see it all, especially from your perspective as a mentor. And so let's shift a little perspective now. Rosalind, as a mentee, please share from your perspective, what makes an effective mentor a mentor, right? Please.
Hey, Dr. Kim, I'm gonna let Raven go ahead and address something, and then I'll go after Raven. Go ahead, Raven.
Absolutely. Oh, go ahead, Raven. I didn't see the hand.
I raised my hand. I raised my hand because something Tammy said was so good to me. I love that Tammy leaned in on the mutual nature of the growth that happens in a mentoring relationship.
Yes.
Because I used to feel like I was draining someone if I asked too many questions, or if I, reached out too many times, or, that it was a one-way street. And I think it's important to know that when you are opening up vulnerably in the space, your mentor is receiving so much from mentoring you. The process of opening up to you and guiding you and supporting you also builds up your mentor. I know for the people that I mentor, sometimes that phone call from them where they're panicked, and I was panicking too. And then when they called and I reminded them, I was able to stand back up too. And it gives me the power in that moment. It reminds myself. And even if it's not that case where I'm in the same position, it's a reminder that, if I came from there, I'm one step or two steps ahead of this person in that area. You don't have to already be there. It just means that if I came from there, I can keep going forward too. So the mutual nature of mentoring is really important to keep in mind for both folks.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Rosalind, for seeing her hand, because I didn't. I was focused on asking you the question.
I know, but if you don't mind, I'm gonna piggyback off of Raven, who piggybacked off of Tammy.
Go ahead. No worries.
Piggyback off of your question.
Yes, go right ahead.
As a mentee, we have to go into the mentorship ready to learn, ready to give, ready to whatever it is you have in here. You have to be open enough and trust that mentor enough that what you're telling them that they can help you with. It's a relationship. You just can't. I think about this because of my relationship with my mentor. I feel like I could tell her anything personally and professionally.
Yeah.
And if I could get just a little example, my mentor was helping me professionally. We was working hard, but she knew deep inside something was going on, where she had to pause our conversation and what we was working on. And she had to say, hey, Roz, what's going on? Let's talk about it. Because she knew that I could not go forward in my vision and my purpose if I did not deal with whatever was going on in my life. And I know that having her identify that pain I was feeling helped me move closer to my purpose. And not only that, it helped me now in my field of helping women, help them more intentionally and help them really see the best in themselves.
Awesome.
So I wanted to bring that out, Kim.
No, I appreciate that. So, ladies, we have to close this up because this is juicy. And you know, when things get juicy, we just love that, and time flies, right? So,
and Dr. Kim, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I would love to invite all of you to come and join us. I have already invited you to the networking party, and I think that the community would love to see all of you over there, Rosalind, Raven, Tammy. It would be a pleasure to have you participate this Friday also at the networking party. So just to wrap up, because we want also our interpreters to be able to rest a little bit for tomorrow. Please, your final thoughts, and thank you so much.
Absolutely, thank you. So, ladies, so I just want real quick for you to give one takeaway. What is that one takeaway that someone can take, or action that they can take, you know, when it comes to mentorship? Real quick, because we got to wrap this up. I'll start with you, Raven. Sorry.
One thing that I want you to take away, whatever is stopping you from taking the next step to get your mentor, to get in the space, to do whatever it takes to reach your next level, move it out of the way. Whatever the obstacle is, be willing to move it.
Thank you. Rosalind.
I want to say, if you don't have a mentorship program in your area, create one. Because you probably already have one amongst your friends, or amongst your church members, or amongst your community.
Yes. All right.
But it's needed, especially for women.
Yes.
We need to always support each other. Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, Tammy, what's that one thing?
My one thing is I want them to go feel that you have empowerment, confidence, lasting impact on someone's lives. You amplify their voices, particularly for women. Many women are not representative. You have an authentic connection and a human-centered guidance. So take it and run with it.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to our incredible and amazing panelists, your insight and your stories. Thank you. Today we learned so much about mentorship. It's not just about shaping individuals, it shapes communities, it shapes businesses and generations. And so we want our audience, we want to invite you to reflect on how this panel helped you in so many ways. Also, we want to thank the Impacting Women. Thank you for inviting us, being on this panel. We're so grateful. Thank you for being this important part of this important conversation, and enjoy the rest of your day. Make it spectacular on purpose. Thank you so much, Micah.
Thank you so much for being part of the Women Impact Summit. And please, I will send you a link so you can join us on Friday for our networking party. I'm sure that all our community will love to hear from all of you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. We'll share our contact information there too. So show up.
Great. So now we're going to go with our final session, and it's going to be with Berta Lázaro, co-founder at Team Labs, and she's going to be presenting 2 women entrepreneurs from their network. Team Labs have been, during these past years, an amazing community partner, and I know that we will continue working in the future. Berta, how are you?
I'm good. I'm like super excited after this energy of this panel. Thank you so much for like giving me back the energy. I'm like 8 to 9 p.m. on
where you are. Yeah.
So thank you so much.
So please tell us a little bit about Team Labs before you introduce to these 2 women entrepreneurs from your network, and tell us, what are you working on?
Well, okay, so Team Labs, it's an educational company that we founded like 14 years ago already. We started in Madrid and now we're based in Madrid, Barcelona, and Malaga. I think it's really easy to introduce Team Labs because we're team and labs. We're a global network, a community of more than 2,500 people around creating a global network of innovation, social innovation ecosystem labs. And we are driven to be designers of context of experimentation and collaboration, like team and labs. That's what we do. What our beliefs, maybe like it's easier to explain what we want to do, like through our beliefs, right? We believe that there's the problems right now, the challenges are too big, too complex to not be collaborative around them, no? To not design solutions collaboratively. So we believe collaboration is the solution to a lot of the things that we have ahead. We believe that learning is innovation. So there's no way that we're going to be able to innovate or do things differently if we're not obsessed about learning, about how we do things and how we make them better. And experimentation, it's something that allows learning to accelerate learning. So this learning by doing in everything you do is one thing that we are, that's what the learning mindset is what we do and what we're trying to incarnate. And also like the companies like being like tools for transformation. It's something that we also believe in. And the companies being also like spaces for growth for persons, no? So we've done we've created like those social innovation ecosystems, and inside those social innovation ecosystems we have an official degree program that is called LANE, Leadership, Entrepreneurship, and Innovation, that is based on the Finnish methodology, educational methodology, that now we rephrase it like it's a learning by doing entrepreneurship program, team entrepreneurship program. Right now we say that we have a methodology that is learning by billing, knowing that invoicing and being able to create sustainable projects is what we like, knowing that you've created value for somebody, and that somebody can pay you back is as an indicator for that, for the training that all entrepreneurs we have to do of creating value, no? So we have learning journeys around the globe. We are based in Spain. We have 6 innovation labs in Spain, but we are also based in Berlin, in Pune, in Seoul, in Mexico, Puebla. We have some partnerships also in New York and Seattle, in Bogota. So we are eagle. The call to action is like, I don't know, we need inspirational women and mentors all around the globe for all those learning journeys that we do. And the community that we want to create is a community that wants to face the next, whatever it is, the immediate next. So we are like our 2,500 young entrepreneurs. There we have between the 25% and the 35% women. So I feel it's still very low. I think the algorithm right now is against like women entrepreneurs, at least in Spain. I think young male, they get much more like messages about like being entrepreneurs, and I think we need to like reverse that. Right now, today, maybe like we have an example of 2 of the women that have been doing the LANE degree, and maybe like we can go on with Marta, no? Maika, if
Yes, she's the co-founder at the group, so we're going to start with her.
Yes.
Hola, yo soy Marta y soy una de las fundadoras y co-CEO de Gloop. Gloop es una marca de cubertería comestible que nace para solucionar un problema real. Y es que en julio de 2022 se aprueba la legislación que prohíbe el plástico de un solo uso, y es por eso que empezamos a ver otras alternativas en el mercado. Una de ellas, la más extendida, son las pajetas de cartón y de papel, pero que, como sabréis, empeoran la experiencia del consumidor, además de no ser del todo seguras para nuestra salud debido a los componentes químicos que contienen. Y es por eso que nace Gloop, para dar una solución sostenible y real a esas pajitas de plástico. Nosotros fabricamos cubiertos comestibles, tenemos cucharas, pajitas y agitadores de café comestibles que, una vez se han utilizado, se pueden comer como si fuera una galleta. Además, para su elaboración aprovechamos subproductos de la industria alimentaria, como pueden ser las cáscaras de cacao o el bagazo que obtenemos de la elaboración de la cerveza. Nuestros clientes principales se encuentran en el sector Heroikka, principalmente en el sector hotelero, donde tenemos algunos clientes reconocidos como la cadena de hoteles Iberostar, también la restauración con el grupo Mao San Miguel, en las aerolíneas con Iberojet, y ahora mismo también estamos abriendo la vertical de los cines. A lo largo de los años hemos tenido un crecimiento faseado hasta llegar este 2025 a duplicar la facturación del año anterior. Nosotros hacemos tanto el desarrollo de los productos como también la producción. Este 2025 pusimos en marcha nuestra primera fábrica y eso nos ha permitido mejorar los márgenes y poder cerrar el ejercicio con EBITDA positivo. Además, también estamos trabajando en el crecimiento de una comunidad que apoya nuestra solución y que nos ayuda a dar a conocer esa solución al mercado. Uno de los resultados es que tenemos más de 10 millones de visualizaciones en TikTok. ¿Y cómo empezó todo? Resulta que en 2017 yo monté, junto con el apoyo de mi familia, un escape room en mi ciudad, y ahí descubrí mi interés y mi pasión por el mundo del emprendimiento. Además de eso, no me permitió pagar la carrera, así que empecé a estudiar en Team Labs, la carrera de emprendimiento e innovación, donde a lo largo de los 4 años fui desarrollando diferentes tipos de proyectos, sobre todo centrados en marketing y team building para empresas. Y es en 2019 cuando tengo la oportunidad de viajar a Uganda para llevar a cabo un proyecto con una ONG local, donde me empecé a plantear cuáles son realmente mis propósitos y qué es lo que quiero conseguir a través del emprendimiento. Así que descubro un poco, ahí es cuando nace mi interés por el medio ambiente y por generar un impacto positivo tanto en el planeta como también en las personas. Es por eso que en 2021, cuando tengo la oportunidad de viajar a la India, lo hago con un objetivo muy claro, y es que me sirva de fuente de inspiración para desarrollar un proyecto que me permita conectar con mi propósito y, por lo tanto, aportar ese granito de arena a la sociedad y al planeta. Y ahí es donde conozco un emprendedor que justo está empezando a desarrollar unas cucharas de manera artesanal para comer arroz. En ese momento consideramos que puede ser una solución adaptada al mercado europeo que pueda tener mucho encaje, y es ahí cuando empezamos a investigar y validar la idea en nuestro país. Así que hasta el día de hoy hemos estado creciendo, y en 2023 fue cuando hicimos nuestra primera ronda de inversión, que nos permitió hacer todo el desarrollo de producto y el primer MVP y también conseguir los primeros clientes. Y a día de hoy estamos lanzando la segunda ronda de inversión de 450.000, de la cual la mayor parte se ha invertido en marketing y en el crecimiento de ventas. También una pequeña parte en terminar algunas automatizaciones de la fábrica y por otro lado, en seguir mejorando y desarrollando nuevos productos para ampliar nuestro catálogo. Ya tenemos el 75% de la ronda cerrada, que gracias a inversores de la comunidad de Seed Rocket y también algunos business angels que han estado en Coca-Cola. Así que esperamos que sea de vuestro interés, y os dejo mi contacto para que me podáis escribir y os pueda comentar cómo avanzamos, y seguro que encontramos alguna sinergia para trabajar o colaborar juntos. Muchas gracias.
Wow, that was a great pitch.
Yeah, I'm leaving the website there, and her email, if anyone wants to contact. For the non-Spanish speakers, like, she's developing this single-use plastic company, and she's developing like edible cutlery.
Yeah, They were able to actually listen in English or in,
Also.
yeah, because we have interpretation button underneath here, you see.
That's perfect. I didn't see
So that
it.
was that was
No, you
awesome.
did. So the other one, young entrepreneurs that I wanted to introduce today, she's Sara Recalde. She's from the north. She's from Bilbao, and she's facing the housing accessibility problem that we have right now in Spain and I guess elsewhere. So she's developing a program, a platform. So.
Hace 9 meses decidí dejarlo todo para solucionar un problema que nos afecta a todos los aquí presentes, pero sobre todo a las nuevas generaciones. Mi nombre es Sara Recalde y tengo una misión muy clara: solucionar el problema de acceso a la vivienda a través de la tecnología. Porque, ¿cuántos de vosotros queréis tener una vivienda en propiedad? Según el CIS, 8 de cada 10 personas sueñan con comprarse una casa, pero de ellas solo una persona lo consigue. Y es que el problema es claro. Los precios de la vivienda han subido muchísimo. La compra exige muchísimos años de salario íntegro ahorrado. Los bancos solo cubren una parte del capital de la vivienda, lo que hace que sitúe a España como uno de los países en Europa donde los jóvenes no solo más tarde nos emancipamos, sino que también nos compramos nuestra primera vivienda. Solo 1 de cada 10 jóvenes está consiguiendo ahorrar alrededor de 200 euros al mes. ¿A cuántos de vosotros os preocupan estos datos? Y es que es totalmente normal, porque las principales preocupaciones de los españoles son la vivienda, ligada a la estabilidad económica, el empleo y la salud. Por ello, hemos creado Yorsio con el objetivo de solucionar el problema de acceso a la vivienda a través de la tecnología. Yorsio es la primera plataforma que convierte tu gasto de alquiler en propiedad. Ayudamos a los jóvenes a ser propietarios mediante un modelo de alquiler con opción a compra, empezando por una habitación. Para que lo entendáis de una manera muy sencilla, lo que hacemos es gente que comparte piso de alquiler, no solamente le ayudamos a encontrar a los mejores compis de piso y las mejores habitaciones, sino que además, en lugar de tirar ese dinero a la basura, convierten ese gasto de alquiler en ahorro. Amortizamos parte del dinero que pagan mes a mes para que el día de mañana se les descuente del precio final de compra de esa habitación y el día de mañana, cuando quieran mudarse, poder venderla para tener la entrada de la casa de sus sueños. Nuestro cliente objetivo somos nosotros. Nuestro equipo es un equipo de gente joven que siempre ha vivido compartiendo piso de alquiler y siempre hemos pensado que si a día de hoy tuviéramos todo el dinero que nos hemos gastado compartiendo piso, tendríamos como mínimo la entrada de una casa. Por ello, hemos creado un producto que no solamente se adecua a nosotros, sino que soluciona un problema estructural de nuestra sociedad y va dirigido a nuestra generación. El mercado en España es enorme, pero lo más importante, no para de crecer. Estamos hablando de un 20% de crecimiento anual en coinversión en vivienda, un 29% de crecimiento anual en aumento de pisos compartidos. Un 40% de los jóvenes en España afirman querer o considerar fórmulas alternativas de acceso a la vivienda como la que proponemos. Nuestra ventaja competitiva es clara. Los demás modelos son co-livings al uso, con un alquiler tradicional, o donde hay una hipoteca, o un alquiler con opción a compra, pero de pisos enteros que también te requieren un 5% de entrada. En cambio, nosotros ofrecemos un modelo de alquiler con opción a compra de habitaciones, dando una flexibilidad total para poder moverte de habitación a habitación y no teniendo que hacer ese gasto de alquiler, sino que lo conviertas en ahorro, teniendo una comunidad y la tecnología en el centro para que todo esto fluya y conecte de la manera más eficiente posible. Detrás de todo esto hay un pedazo de equipo. Está mal que yo lo diga, pero somos un equipo muy multidisciplinar, muy preparado, donde combinamos tecnología, finanzas, operaciones y marketing, con experiencia en consultoría, banca, tecnología y startups. Y toda la parte más técnica, expertise de real estate nos la dan nuestros mentores, inversores y advisors. Si queréis ayudarnos a solucionar el problema de acceso a la vivienda, yorsio.com o contactyorsio.com. Muchas gracias.
That was another great
Yeah, that's good. It's an intense business model that she's trying to create. I know.
It's a new, yeah, definitely. And of course, the new generations, they need to rethink the way to access properties and homes. There's no other way.
Well, thank you so much. I'm gonna leave our website and the
yes, please.
and the Mondragon Team Academy network. And we're part of the Mondragon network. So I don't know, the call to action, like please send us, contact us. Let's do things together. We have tons of people to create things with.
Thank you so much for all your support.
For inviting us and for creating this amazing, crazy event, like for so many people around. So thank you.
No, thank you for always being part of it. And we will put all your contact information in our website as well. Thank you so much, Berta. We'll be in touch. Thank you. And with these very interesting final two projects, we are finishing our first day of the Women Impact Summit. I hope that you were able to meet someone new, to learn something new, and to connect with new ideas. That's our purpose. Once again, I need to thank our sponsors, Open Value Foundation, Casa Africa, Asociación Heroikka. I also want to thank Irene, and Eva from our production team and marketing and communications for being always there for all the community, and also our translators and interpreters, Anouk and Hazel. Thank you so much. Thanks to our community partners, First Flight Venture Center, Finance in Common, Women Business Collaborative, Glow Up, Social Studio, Emigrar y Emprender, Woman Biz, Women in Banking, ISPACs, and Team Labs that you just saw the work that they're doing. Tomorrow, more exciting speakers and more exciting women entrepreneurs. We'll see you at the same time tomorrow. Thank you so much.